7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
All right, welcome into another edition of the Vegas Squares podcast. We are sitting here in studio. Spike, we got a full studio. This has been, well, not this year. We haven't had one this calendar year.
Yeah, no, I've been feeling unclaustrophobic, but
what's the opposite of?
I don't know. I fucked that up, but yeah, no, it's
claustrophobic.
It's a crowded little cramped studio we got going on today.
Yeah, and with us after their brief hiatuses. Is that how you say hiatus plural?
Hiati?
Hiati? Is the Tonys. They're back. No, not the award show. The tokens.
Now, if we had a third one, we could be called, like, the band, Tony.
Oh, my God.
Tony has done it again.
Wow.
I don't know which one is worse, the Grammys Tonys or the Tonys
reference.
here. I don't know.
What are the Grammys Tonys?
I'm sorry, the Tony Awards or these Tonys. What would you rather listen to or watch?
Well, if you're a sports bettor, I'm hoping that you're listening in this one because you could fade my ass, so.
Yeah,
That's
I
true.
think it's time to bring back the hashtag fade the fuck out of token. So.
Yeah, I will say, for as good and as profitable as Fade the Fuck Out of Token was during the regular season, Fade the Fuck Out of Spike in the postseason has been super profitable.
Speaking of fade the fuck out of Spike, I think we should get this out of the way first. You two owe this Muppet money.
That's right! Yeah, pay up, motherfuckers!
Yeah, let me know what the total is.
Yeah.
Well,
200 each.
I think, 200 each from you guys, and then pending charge. If I were you, Fake Token, I would just hold off on the other 50. That's what I did with Spike.
Oh, yeah.
Because you might win the MGM contest. It's me versus you.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
No, that's fine. I'll pay what I owe. That's not a big deal.
Yeah, and then the MGM thing is I'm completely out of it, so
I'm out of it, too, with the Texans being out.
Yeah.
Aaron just held 50 for me out of that, what he owed me, so.
I still owe you 20, Spike.
All right.
20 either.
All right, but anyways.
Yeah, that's too many props.
So again,
It's a nice problem to have, though.
As you recall, last week we said this was going to be our prop bet podcast, and we all have our copies of the Bible, as it is called, from the Westgate Las Vegas Sportsbook. I know they've been the Westgate for like 5 years. They still feel like the LVH. You know,
Really?
I don't know. I never call it the Westgate. Is that weird?
I guess
It's weird, yeah.
I never spent enough time at Hilton to really keep calling it the LVH even after the
Not that I
transition to
spent
Westgate.
time there, but like growing up, you know, hearing about like when the official line was always out, it was the LVH line.
Mm.
You know, and now Caesars is partnered with ESPN. Now Caesars has all their lines on SportsCenter, but it was just, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's sometimes people are like, how do you get to the Westgate? And it takes me a second to go, oh yeah. So, anyways.
Well, since I lived out
stupid
here,
little
it's
anecdote.
Westgate, so it's easy for me to call Westgate.
That's fair.
Mm.
So, anyways, like I said, we've got our copies of the Bible. We are going to be giving you all of our prop bet picks for the next, probably about an hour here or so. In Super Bowl number...
54!
Come on, man, it's the freaking total.
I know.
Super Bowl,
yeah, I didn't even realize
Super Bowl number 54. No, nobody else realized that?
I had no idea.
I
what number it was.
I knew it was Super Bowl 54.
You're going to have to eat your mic, sir.
I didn't know what number it was, but I knew what Roman numerals it was, so I had to go back to my fucking Latin training from high school and say, all right, LIV 54, there we go.
There you go. Super Bowl is live.
Yeah, translate and then do the math with it. And then...
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to spend the next probably 60 minutes plus discussing, dissecting, and all around going over from front to back the Westgate Las Vegas Superbook propositions. Token, for you, this is a great thing because literally 90% of the bets could go either way.
Yeah, I mean, I will probably only say that once, hopefully, in this podcast, and
Anybody want to take that prop bet?
I was about to say, what's the over-under on that line? The line's going to be what? 1.5.
Set your own line.
Yeah, we'll set it at 1.5.
1.5, yeah.
I will try.
And any versions of it too. Any version, I could see it both ways. Or,
or it's a coin flip.
Yeah, it's a coin flip. Or take your pick or anything like that.
I agree.
Any moderation of it could go either way counts toward your total. So, good luck, Token. You've already lost probably. So once again, it is Super Bowl 54. It will be Sunday at Miami, in the Miami Dolphin Stadium. And the San Francisco 49ers take on the Kansas City Chiefs. The total is 54, actually 54.5, depending on where you look at it. And the Kansas City Chiefs are currently a 1-point favorite at the Westgate right now. We're going to get into the props, but initial thoughts just on those two numbers right now. The -1 and the 54.5.
For me, Chiefs -1 and the under 54.5.
Really?
Interesting coordinates there.
I know. I'll explain a little later about it.
You can go now.
Well, they might have something to do with the props, I'm guessing, like that type of
I figure
strategy.
the way we all think this game's going to go is going to determine our props. So I figured we might as well get those picks out of the way now.
Yeah.
Well, I'll go ahead and take a rare stand here. I did this very, very differently.
It's going to be a tie.
Very, very differently the last versus the last 3 or 4 years, where I think I had a good beat on the game, kind of how the flow would go. I really studied the play-by-play. It made a lot of sense to me. This game, I honestly have no clue. And I think there's 3 or 4 different real ways it could go. So I went through this prop-wise, just trying to find value, just trying to find middles. I will get into that, of course, a lot later. So I can very much say I have no opinion at all on the side here. The total, I was one of those people waiting for about 56. That was my number. If it got to 56, I was going to bet the under. I knew there was a chance it wouldn't. It wouldn't keep going up from, opening 51.5, 52 to up to 55. And I just waited too long. I was just going to wait, and I figured that was the number that made the most sense. And if it's not going to get there, it's not going to get there. No worries. So I won't have a play on the side or the total, unfortunately.
Wow.
Well, as we talked about last week, I am already locked in. I locked in my bet at halftime of the NFC Championship. I don't have a play on the total, but I like the under as well. I was also, too, hoping it got to 55 or 56. But more than likely, before the start of the game, I will be on the under. But I already locked in San Francisco plus 105 on the money line.
Oh, you got plus 105. That was good for you. I got it. I got it after the NFC Championship game, and I took San Francisco at even money. On the money line. And the way I'm looking at this game is if San Francisco is going to win, it's going to be a knockdown, drag-out fight. If Kansas City is going to win, they're going to put up points in bunches. So for me, it's if you're taking San Francisco, take the under. If you're taking Kansas City, take the over.
Also, as of this recording, if you go to
realistically, yeah.
As of this recording, if you go to the MGM right now, you can get it at plus 105.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Too bad I don't have any money left in that account.
Well, I think
to our
MGM
contest.
and BetMGM are different. So the BetMGM might...
Do you think they have different lines?
Yeah. They're both on Vegas Insider.
I have found BetMGM on Vegas Insider to be off. Just so
interesting
in the history that I've looked at it.
Well, we're not going to use it as gospel.
No,
yeah, I know that they are 2 different tabs at this point. So
wow, okay.
Plus 105 and even money on BetMGM. So it could be off.
Interesting.
Well, we've got our MGM apps, but I don't really want to dissect that right now at this point.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
So yeah, it's going to be an interesting game. You're right, Tony. Fake token. I see multiple scenarios going over. I mean, let's talk about one of the most prolific offenses we've seen in recent memory. I mean, with the weapons that Kansas City has there been a team like this in the last? Well, since the 2007 Patriots, has there been a team where you look at every single position and they're all of strength? I mean, maybe with the exception of, like, the backup tight end. I mean, you got Tyreek, you got Sammy Watkins, you have DeMarcus Robinson, you have Mecole Hardman, you have Travis Kelce. You have a strong offensive line, I'd say, and this may not even be true, but their weak point might be Eric Fisher, who was the number 1 overall pick a few years back. Pat Mahomes, Damian Williams. I mean, I don't see really a true weakness in this.
I do think they're lacking a little bit at running back. I think the loss.
Damian Williams has come on a little bit lately, though.
He's serviceable. I think he's serviceable, but I don't think he's nearly as good as the back from the last couple of years. That ended up in Cleveland. So
correct, yeah.
That's I think
he's their new kicker.
Where they're lacking, in my opinion. Although again, it's one of those tough things that I've tried to make a really strong point here. Not that I bet a lot of sides in the NFL in general, but I'm just not going to be betting against Pat Mahomes very often. I said this before to a lot of people, he's the best quarterback I've ever seen. I'm pretty confident saying that, at least just based on my opinion. And I just don't want to be. I just don't want to be betting against a guy like that can, the quarterback position is obviously so vital and can do so much, and he can take over a game that it just seems like a tough spot. But I'm with you two guys. If I had to bet a side here, I do think that the value probably does lie in San Francisco. But I just don't want to bet against Pat Mahomes.
And Token, speaking of San Francisco, I mean, we've been talking about they got the number one defense, and the cliche is a cliche for a reason. Defense wins championships. I mean, we've seen them, the Ravens, the Bucks, multiple Ravens.
With a great
teams.
running game, too.
Yeah, with also a good running game. And I mean, although the picks are there, Jimmy Garoppolo has been a serviceable quarterback who really hasn't been tested yet in the playoffs or in his career.
I mean, he's had 17 pass attempts so far in the
27, I believe.
Oh, okay.
But he had 8 in the NFC Championship.
Yeah, that's very low. I mean,
a little bit. Yeah, I think Pat Mahomes had 27 in the AFC Championship alone.
Probably in the first half.
For sure. Yeah,
exactly. So you're right. There are multiple scenarios. I can see a spot where Kansas City and Andy Reid figure out this defense and run away with it. I'm not saying that that's not totally out of the realm of possibility, but my money right now, and I told this to some people at work, and I said, look, they're like, how can you bet the 49ers? I like the 49ers. And they're like, well, I love the Chiefs. And I said, look, I wouldn't feel bad if I had to have money on Pat Mahomes either.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying, because like, a lot of people, if you're not on their side, oh, bad bet. Okay, well, sure, why not, whatever. But I tell people, hey, look, I like the 49ers, but if you forced me to bet the Chiefs, I would not feel bad about having the Chiefs -1.
Exactly, yeah.
So,
I mean, I was trying to think of this line when it was going to come out, and I was thinking San Fran would be the favorite of 1. Actually, when I was drawing up the line. And somehow I like the Chiefs -1 now. So,
yeah, things happen.
Yeah.
So, before we get into actual props, I will say that I do like the 49ers first half. Anybody else on any halftime wagering?
I like the under on the first half, 26.5 at even money.
Fair enough.
Nothing for me on the half.
Yeah, I never bet halftime lines. I can't feel confident enough either way, so I don't even touch them.
And in fairness, the only quarter wagering I've ever bet is the Patriots game because it's been pretty much the under every time.
Yeah, that's always been a good one. You're right.
So the total on this one is under 10. I don't feel comfortable, or 10. The over is actually the favorite at -130. I don't feel comfortable leaning either way to that one because I feel like a defensive struggle. Super Bowls usually start slow, so if I had to be on a side, I'd take the plus money at under 10, and that's.
I would lean that way as well. Yeah.
So, all right, one of my favorites that I like to get down on is since the Baltimore San Francisco Super Bowl back in 2012 is alternate point spreads.
Oh yeah.
So that's where we're going to start. It's because they're not technically props, even though they're still point spreads, but they're in the Bible.
It's still legit.
Anybody on alternate point spreads? I'll start. I have the 49ers -3.5, and I also have the 49ers -7.5, plus 160 and plus 260. I don't love that I got to lay almost over double for just $1 more on the -7.5. I tried to find it at a better spot. That was kind of the general consensus. The only people that had it any better than that was South Point, and it was 5 cents better, and I'm just not driving all the way over there.
Yeah.
I'm not driving across town for 5 cents.
For 20, yeah, but
maybe, depending on how much I'm betting. I mean,
yeah, that's true.
It's
if you're dying better than.
And we talked about that actually while you guys were gone. Was finding the best line is what sportsbook or not sportsbook, but like touts and guys who are more in the industry, guys like Todd Furman, et cetera. They're like, you got to find the best line. It's like, hey, look, I'm a recreational bettor, and I'm not driving 45 minutes to save 5 cents on the dollar. Or to gain 5 cents on the dollar.
Well, it's like Tony a few weeks ago. You found on the Deshaun Watson touchdown passes.
Oh yeah, we had a plus on both sides.
Yeah.
Yes. There was.
One book had plus on the under, one had plus on the over.
Plus 105, plus 110 on each side. So
well,
that was
one I
nice.
would drive and go.
Wow. Yeah,
I would go
that was
put
fortunate.
my net worth on both sides.
I did what I could. I had 2 apps, which was nice. I did what I could, and then they moved it. I think I was probably the last bastion because I threw the last 500 in there, and then they moved it. So, which is fine. I'll accept. So, yeah, no, it was good. Stuff like that, obviously, yeah, you're willing to drive a little bit, but I'm with you, especially, again, if you're not betting massive amounts of money, I mean, you're going to lose more in the long run just driving with gas and your time, and just there's no reason to do that. So I agree with you. Yeah, it's nice. I'm obsessed with it with the line and numbers too. I'll admit I'm one of those guys.
But having the apps is huge.
But that's the key. I was just going to say that, and just having the apps, at least being out here, is enormous for that. So
now I have heard, and correct me if I'm wrong, I have heard before that, like even with the BetMGM, you were saying the app and the brick and mortar lines can be different as well. And is that just the cost of doing business?
I've been told that that's not happening, or it's very, very rare. The main difference between the app and inside in the brick and mortar spot is the amount they will take. So usually on the app, they will only take about a half to maybe a little bit more of the limit. They will not take the full limit on the app. So that's the only thing I know. It has happened where it's been different on the app versus in the regular spot, but I think that's a rarity from what I understand. Although I am not I don't know this. I haven't studied this at all. So
and I haven't sat down and dissected and tried to pay attention to Vegas Insider and the app changes at the same time. But alternate point spreads, like I said, I'm on -3.5 and -7.5 for the Chargers. Where the hell did that come from? The 49ers. Anybody else?
Next year's Super Bowl.
Yeah. Anybody else loving any alternate point spreads? I'm sure if you're on the Chiefs, you might be.
A lot of people that I talk to that like the Chiefs like it at -10.5 at 3-1 on the money. But I see it becoming a 3-point game. So
that makes sense to me. It's just not something that I would feel confident in. And I'm actually putting a little bit. I'm with you, Aaron. San Francisco -7.5 at +260. I don't feel great about it, but I figured the price was good enough to warrant sprinkling a little bit on it. Especially if San Francisco can get out to a good enough lead, Kansas City goes into panic mode and starts turning the ball over. I think that 7.5 number can come into play pretty quickly.
Yeah, I don't, unfortunately, I'm going to be a little bit of a broken record here. I don't have a good feel for this game, so I don't have anything. If I had to, I'd find one of the really obscure, spots. I'd bet the over 68.5 at +400 or something, something along those lines, but just because I don't really know how this is going to go, and I'm one of the few people that I do believe San Francisco could still cover this game with the total going over. I think this offense has not been given its due.
That is another potential scenario that could happen. I also, too, have a couple alternate totals myself.
Okay, but I don't have any bets, and I'm not going to make any, but that's where I would go. I'd bet the over 68.5 +400 if I had to make one.
Which is funny because I'm on the complete opposite side. I'm actually on the under 41.5 for +400. I see this game somewhere around the 23-16 kind of marker. I think Kansas City's defense has a pulse as well, and I don't think anybody's talking about that.
They do.
I mean, you and I were discussing it, and the fact of who could shut down Derrick Henry? Oh wait, the Chiefs did.
Yeah.
And that's not to be taken lightly because that was pretty much Tennessee's offense as it was proven, even though they still scored 24 points. I could see a defensive struggle here. I mean, I could see Jimmy Garoppolo driving his team down and throwing some costly picks, which creates long fields, which. For Pat Mahomes, I mean, what did he score? A 3-play, 90-yard drive in the NFC Championship. I mean, they put 28 points up. It's hard. You're right. It's hard to dictate. So if you're going to bet props, you literally have to project a thing in this game. I mean, you have to project what you think. And I think Fake Token did it perfectly last year with the Pats and Rams.
Oh yeah,
so perfectly to the point where I was rooting for my bet to lose so he could win like $6,000.
Yeah,
the 3-13. Yeah, that one still hurts a little bit, but yeah.
Not to rehash old memories.
No worries, no, it's fine. It's fair.
Alternate totals. I mean, how do you see this? Any of those that interest you guys?
Not especially. I felt more confident because I did the under. I think the low under for last year was 39.5 or something, and I hammered that one pretty good. But this year, no, I don't feel as confident in either of them. I might do the same thing, Aaron, that you were just talking about, because I think we're pretty lockstep on this game. I was taking that under 41.5 at, you got it at 4, it's 375 right now. So, just looking at a line like that, again, San Francisco running game, if they can get that going, if they can control the ball, and Pat Mahomes makes mistakes, then this game can stay right at that number that you're thinking of.
Yeah, for sure. The totals are everybody. I don't know. Even I don't feel great about having that 41.5. I'll probably fire. There's a 49.5 as well at plus 170.
I like that one.
Yeah.
But realistically, I see this game 24-21.
Yeah, I mean, you're telling me I can have, what is that? I give up a touchdown and I can have 80 cents on the dollar. I mean, I'll take a shot at that one. So I probably put that one in too as well. Hopefully it didn't go down on the real-time odds. But the next page actually is your parlayable props, which people love.
Yeah.
So obviously the one that is the most popular, maybe the second most, I don't know. People like to bet the Anthem too, but how long it's going to be.
You can't do that in Vegas, though. That's the unfortunate thing.
Yeah, but people still like to to bet that offshore. Okay, so the most popular Vegas prop, I guess.
There you go.
Is will the opening coin toss be heads or tails?
It can go either way.
There it is. We got
one.
That's one. He got it. There it goes.
Yep.
I didn't say it for this one.
However, I will say this every year, and every year we do this podcast, I will continue to say it. Please do not bet this at the book. Just pick a friend and go even money with your buddy. Don't pay 2 cents on the dollar.
Or even a non-friend. Doesn't really
Or
matter.
a non-friend.
That's true.
Go find a guy on the street who's got $20 and say,
There you
look,
go.
we'll just bet the coin toss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just make sure he's good for
It is unfortunate, and Token, you brought it up. This used to be minus 110 either way. Sportsbooks were loving it.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously we know it'll never go to, you and I disagree on this, we know it'll never go to even, because that would be pointless. I think they might shave this a little more razor thin, unless they're just getting tons of bets on this.
They are. I know the guy that heads
Instant
Cantor.
gratification.
That heads Cantor said they have almost 6 figures on it so far.
That's amazing.
Yeah, he said they've
That's
got about
pretty
60,
sick.
70,000. Sides, yeah.
Oh my God!
Incredible. It's absolutely incredible.
Is it going to one side or the other? Or is it?
Yes, they have considered they've moved the line in the
they
past.
need
He said.
action?
He said they have moved the line in the past because they're at 102 as well. They've gone to 103, 101. I think a couple years ago. He said because they got so much money on heads.
Wow.
I know offshore there was a plus 100 once. It went to plus 100 like minus 110 because they just got so much heads money.
All right, who wants to give me even
It's
action?
ridiculous.
Who's in? I'll take tails.
Oh, I like tails.
I'll take heads.
All right,
All right.
even action. Screw you, Token.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough.
How much?
I don't know. I'll let you know when I win. I'm not going to go over.
$1 million.
We'll go over a couple of them that I think are important. But anybody looking at parlayable props at this point to jump in on throwing two together.
I actually didn't find any that I felt comfortable with enough to parlay, so I'm out on this one.
I do like just two to parlay, and that is, will either team score 3 straight times? I like the no on that one, which is plus 160. And then I like the total QB sacks by both teams over 4.5 at minus 130.
Interesting.
The first one I looked at, and it's going to be tough because they're two of the most accurate kickers in our game today. But to get plus 300 on a missed extra point, I feel like maybe the pressure late in the game is going to maybe dictate if one of these guys shanks one off the upright or wide left, wide right. So I took a parlay of will there be a missed extra point? I said yes at plus 300, and will both teams make a 33-yard or longer field goal? I took the yes at even money, hoping for a little payday there. As we have accurate kickers, I think we're going to have some drive stall with the defenses. Hopefully we can get 2 35-yard field goals, and maybe Butker shanks one at the with a couple minutes left.
I've got up-to-date line changes if need be through yesterday, just as we go through this. So a lot of these lines have obviously moved a lot, so we can, if anybody wants to throw something out there, I can let you know going forward here. For me, I've actually done a little bit of the opposite what I usually do. Usually I take a lot of unders on first receptions if it's deemed okay, but these lines have all moved a lot. They've all moved either 1 or 2 yards down.
Wow.
So the ones I like are on the other page, the Kansas City side. I haven't bet them. I don't know if I'm going to because it is such a crapshoot. Sammy Watkins, DeMarcus Robinson, and McCole Hardman are all down to 10.5.
Wow.
So I think I like the over on all three. The issue with DeMarcus Robinson is I'm not convinced he's going to have a reception. So I might avoid that one. But the other two, I'm close to betting. I'm not sure I'm going to parlay it or just make straight bets. But those are the two I'd be on. Even Tyreek Hill is down to 12.5 from 13.5. So
Yeah, I see 12.5 on mine.
Yeah, I got mine early. I'm at 13.5 right now.
Okay.
Yep. So that's where I'm at. But I'm also with Spike here. Nothing really came across strongly at all. I try to avoid these first receptions, first rushes, because you're just the variance and the randomness is a little bit high.
I mean, you got a bunch of burners there. It's hard to really lay 110 just on anything. All these guys, their first catch could be a 55-yard touchdown.
Correct. So yeah, and they run a lot of longer routes. It's just, to me, it makes a lot of sense to be on that side. But I haven't put the bets in yet, but we might.
I actually, speaking of your Kansas City, I'm not sure how much Blake Bell will be involved. So
Belldozer.
I like the under in that prop as well, even though the reception's only 1.5 yards.
He may not get one.
I think he might not get one.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think a couple years back when the Patriots played, whatever it was, when we were in the other studio, and I think I took the over 1.5 on Dwayne Allen and couldn't get there.
Yep. It's rough.
So I think I'm going to take the under on Blake Bell. I can't see him being involved in this unless they literally spread everyone on the field, which is possible. But, there's not a whole ton of these parlayable, and I think for obvious reasons they don't, obviously not going to give you a ton of juice on that as well. I mean, what are you going to do with these things? A rushing attempt by Mahomes? I mean, he could scramble and try to avoid a sack and gain a half yard on an accidental forward progress. It's tough to sit there and really look at this. I like the over on the first attempt by Damian Williams, 3.5. You're getting plus 110 in that spot. I'm wondering with Mostert, the reception at 6.5 doesn't catch a lot of balls. So if he does have a kind of a Jimmy Genie's an emergency swing out or something, I'm also not sure if he can get over that 6.5 number with his first reception. But I don't know if I want to lay juice on that one. So I don't have too much in the area of the parlayable props other than missing the extra point and 33-plus yard field goals.
That's it. That's all I got too.
No, I think the only thing, not something I'm going to bet, but the only thing that I thought was interesting, and it shows you how much research that the books do while they're putting this together, are the two kickers. Will the first kickoff by Mitch Wisnowski and by Harrison Butker result in a touchback? And the lines are so completely different that it shows you exactly how in-depth they get when it comes to looking at this game and everything else. So this is another example of, if you think you can beat the book just based on a gut feeling, you are completely wrong.
No, there's a lot of analysis as well as numbers that they put into it, as well as multiple simulations. So
so it's just it's absurd how much work
tens of thousands of simulations.
Oh yeah.
So here's a fun one. We're going to flip the page, going back away from the parlayable props. And the one I like is, because some of us are on the over, some of us are on the under. The betting public obviously salivates on that 50. I mean, they bet it up. You can see that. The total touchdowns by both teams sitting at 6.5, which at first glance sounds high, but I mean, you're talking about a total that's 54. That doesn't even get there on touchdowns alone. The over actually is plus money, which I would imagine, if you're an under better, you're going to think under minus 130 is gold, and if you're an over better, you're going to think, obviously, that you want touchdowns, action, and plus the fact that you're getting plus money is going to sound like, easy money. Not to use another money, but that sound like easy money to you at that point. What do you guys think about that in spot where, I mean, for me, who likes the under, I obviously need a total touchdown effort to be under 6.5.
Pretty much.
And I'm not paying too much in that spot. I don't feel too bad about laying 130.
That's not too much, and I see value in that. I would just like it at 110, obviously, more, but...
Yeah, but I think, honestly, the book might have done it that way because of the over being as high as it is and the actual number of touchdowns. I mean, 7 touchdowns.
Could still get there with 7. I mean, you're with an under. Still could.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You could still get it under in that spot. I just... it's tough, I don't see this game having as much firepower as the NFL expects it to have. But I could be wrong.
No, that's fair. My fear would be that they score 7 combined touchdowns and kick 1 field goal, and
you're still
you lose the under, and you would have won the regular. I don't know. It seems like a good number to me. I don't know.
I feel like it is a good number. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, yes.
The book writes a good number.
Yes, they're very good.
And for the people who have the over, they're getting plus money on this. It feels like a salivate. It's a tough one. I mean,
It is.
they don't, like you said, analysis is not one that they skip, right, Token?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, first touchdown of the game will be passing or any other.
I like the fact that any other is getting plus money. I got it at plus 130 right here, which I think, to me, feels pretty good. And, you got one of those drives, Kansas City or San Francisco, when they get the ball down the field, if they're within that 5-yard range, I think that's where they maybe not abandon the passing game, but I think they're going to try to run the ball in first. So I think in that situation, you get a really good shot at that any other touchdown coming in.
Which also correlates with the first score of the game and the any other score getting plus 160 in that spot.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think the first score of the game is going to be?
Safety. No.
Jesus.
There it is.
No, realistically, I see a touchdown.
I don't really have a good feel for that one. I don't know. I think it's more likely.
That's the same as it could go either way.
Well, I mean,
But you're
yeah.
not on the bet. So.
No, I'm not, and I'm certainly not. These types of bets are the ones that I'm very much avoiding in this game because I really don't know. It might matter who gets the ball first. Or off the kick. I think that could be a very, very big deal. Obviously, you can't bet these after the coin toss is determined, but that's going to be a big one here. I think it's much, much better for if we're talking about the passing touchdown if Kansas City gets the ball first. It just, to me, that makes a lot more sense. I'm not sure, how many passing touchdowns Garoppolo's going to have in this game. That doesn't mean they won't have a bunch of touchdowns. It's just passing-wise, it just seems less likely from them.
All right, Token, your favorite part, the special teams.
Oh, yeah.
We got some kicking props here. A couple of them I like. I'm interested in because of the already parlay I want to put in. They have longest field goal, shortest field goal, total field goals, and distance made of the first field goal and total yardage of all field goals.
What page are you on?
Same page we've been on. The fourth.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Now I see them.
You got two kickers who are deadly accurate. You can almost put them on the field anywhere from the 50 in.
Yes.
And you've got a good shot at making it.
I do like one of those bets, and that is the shortest made field goal of game. I like the over 27.5 at even money.
You're predicting no drive stall in the red zone, which I guess inside the 10.
I was thinking inside the 10, somebody would probably go for it on fourth down instead of take the 3.
Okay.
In most certain situations. So, and plus if no field goal made, then all bets are refunded in this spot as a disclaimer.
Correct.
So the under is not good in that spot.
That's fair. Yep. Spike, this is one I kind of like correlating to we like the under in the game. The offensive firepower might not be there. Drives might stall. What about the over on the total yardage of all field goals made? Say there's, 4 35-yard field goals, in something in a scenario like that. 122 in a game where you could see not a shootout seems like a low number.
It does, but, this is... If you're feeling confident about... the fact that this is going to be a more grinding type game, then there are going to be more field goals kicked, obviously. So you'd probably want to look more at the over, which, I don't know. I'm not super confident. I do like the fact that I think it's going to be a grinding type game, but I think both teams have good enough offenses to actually score as opposed to getting stalled out and kicking the field goals. Not a line I'm going to touch, but if I was, I'd probably be looking at the under.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one, Spike. I like the under. I would like it even a lot more if no field goal made was good for the under in this spot. I would be
kind of like the reception and rush props.
Yeah, I'd be willing to pay a little more just for that as well if that was one of the disclaimers. But if no field goal is made, all bets are refunded. So I still like the under.
All right, well, flipping to page 5 here in this spot, let's go for the guys who like the over and a shootout type game. The total yardage of the touchdowns, 102.5. I mean,
104.5.
Yep, currently 104.
Oh, so it's already gone up. So
Yep.
again, I need an updated copy. Fuck this shit. Give me an updated copy. Clearly, my week-old Bible. It's amazing how it does that, though, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, 110 either way, 104.5.
I'm glad we all have updated ones because I thought I was going to have to go back and forth.
No. Let's get some update here. Screw it.
Yep.
104.5, 110 either way. Guys who like shootouts. I mean, this seems like another correlated prop.
Kind of. I like the under, and I'm on the over on this one.
Wait, what?
He likes the under for the game, and he's on.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it took
Yeah.
me a second too, and I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah. I think there will be one that's, if not two, that are pretty reasonable sized, or a punt return for a touchdown, or a kickoff return for a touchdown that includes
Includes all returns.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some great athletes at the wide receiver position on
and
both
that's
teams.
what I was really thinking about with special teams.
Yeah.
I mean, God forbid me Cole gets you a 99-yarder. You're like, oh, I'm golden.
Oh.
Can you imagine this game was 10-3 and that was the 99-yard return? You had this bet.
I'll
it was like the
be
first
very
play.
happy with that one. Yes. I have a lot of Hardman action, so I'd be very pleased. Yes.
I'll just use him as an example.
I know you
yes,
did, but
I
I'm
mean,
just
can you
still
imagine
commenting.
99
That'd be
yard
ideal.
99-yard opening kickoff, and you got this prop, and you're like, oh, I'm gold.
That would be
And then 4 1-yard touchdown runs from Williams and Mustard.
Jeez.
So if you bet,
There's gross ways to lose bets, gentlemen.
if you have the over on the opening line and then the under on this line, you'd be good on both sides.
You could have middled the total yardage of all touchdowns in the game. The first one to ever do that, maybe. Yes. Maybe not. I don't know.
I'm sure there's probably been a few.
All right, so quarter props for touchdowns for both teams. Obviously, what are you guys doing? Oh. Yeah, she's weird.
Yeah.
First, 49ers in the first quarter is a plus 105 to score on the yes, and the Chiefs are a minus 110 on the yes. Everything else, they are laying heavy juice for the touchdowns. Any thoughts on trying to figure out when these offenses are going to get going and getting into the end zone?
I have no
Is
idea.
that just too much of a crapshoot?
That's
too much of a degen bet.
feels very crapshooty. Despite the fact that the no's in the first quarter are minus 1.25 for the 49ers and minus 115 for the Chiefs, we've seen so many slow starts and so many games that have just been arduous to start in the first quarter. That's kind of where I would go if I had to. I don't really want to be laying a lot of juice in general, but that's probably where I would be. I'm not saying there's not going to be any scoring, but touchdowns are still touchdowns. Definitely a lot harder. And as you said, both of these kickers are both very accurate and quite good. Although Robbie Gould's leg is not what it used to be, but still, he can still make long field goals. So that's where I'd be. But I'm going to stay away from these.
I'm not only am I not touching these, I'm actually not even paying attention right now.
Thank you.
I'm logging into old World of Warcraft characters on my laptop.
There's a shocker. See, I haven't been here in a while, but things don't change. Good. Okay. Excellent.
Yeah, no, these are. I've got like pages that I'm skipping here, so I'm just gonna let you guys blather on for a minute.
All right. Well,
I do have something on the very next page, but this one is just not for me.
anyone take a stab at the largest lead of the game by either team? Anybody going to get ahead by more than 2 touchdowns? Can San Francisco do that? I mean, they did it on Green Bay.
Yeah, sure.
But, I mean, the thing is, there's a chance they can because of the way that Kansas City has started slow in the playoff as well. I mean,
they got down
Tennessee,
24-0.
Yeah, they got down by 24 against Houston, and they got down by 10 against Tennessee.
It's true.
Yeah.
Like, instantly.
Yes. No, it's certainly doable. I see both sides have merit to steal a line from Token, really.
Which is funny because the over...
no play on that one for me.
Considering the game spread at -1, the over is the favorite in this. That's kind of an interesting thought for me. You're expecting a close game based on the game spread, and yet somehow a 3-possession lead is the favorite. Any team getting a 3-possession lead at some point. All right, Token, will there be a safety? The yes is only 6-1 now.
Yeah, no value in that.
I know, it sucks now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean...
10-1, yeah, that's more viable, but...
Now, there is an interesting thing. You just said 10-1. Will there be a safety in the first half?
Jeez.
And will there be a safety in the second half?
That line moved, too. It opened at 1,600. It's now in the nose, minus 2,000.
what was the opening for the original safety? Was it 6?
It was the same thing, 6 and 9.
Okay.
Yes, that
Wow.
hasn't moved.
Wow. I mean, if you like it, you're better off just playing the safety in general instead of playing first half or second half. Based on the opening line, you're better playing both the halves, and hopefully it happens to get more maximum value on it.
Yeah, because I mean, if you're trying to bet both the halves, you're gonna have a tough time trying to either guess or you're gonna have to lay more on both halves at that point. So.
Well, at the opening line, 1,600, you divide that by 2. That's 8-1 in theory. If it does not go to overtime.
Correct. Well, does the overtime count in the second half in that spot?
No.
So there you go. Speaking of overtime, we've had one overtime game.
Yes.
We're at 8-1 for the yes.
No overtime.
Too
much juice to lay, though.
I think we were talking about that last week. You know, if that bet was available every single year, you'd be 52-1.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'd be profitable even if you had to lay 2,000, if not even more every time.
I mean, I would imagine you'd have to be profitable. I mean,
If you're betting the same amount, yes.
yeah.
The only way it wouldn't be is if it's more than 5,000.
No, I can't imagine that it was ever that.
Oh God, no.
I wouldn't think so.
If it's 1,400 now, I can't imagine it was ever 5,000. Yeah. But you never know. We weren't around for Super Bowl 1 through, I don't know, Spike, how old are you?
God damn it.
Was he around for one?
What's the first Super Bowl you remember?
First Super Bowl I remember
Yeah.
is the Patriots-Bears, 86, 87, whatever.
Okay.
Whatever one
It's
that
ironic
was.
because the first Super Bowl I remember is the
86,
Patriots-Packers in 96.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, no, that was and that was a rough one because I remember, like, you know, obviously the team was bad for a number of years, but making it to the Super Bowl and then getting so blown out. I didn't necessarily care about football, but my dad did, so it was one of those games that we watched together. And then it was just kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, let's see what happens. Oh, no, this is bad.
Yeah.
Oh, no, this is
You want
real
to
bad.
go play catch, son?
Yeah.
Hey, Token, you remember that line? Never mind.
There were a lot of people that left at halftime. At that game, a lot of fans left at halftime. I've rewatched the. I wasn't around for it, but I've rewatched the video because it was a big deal in my household, being Bears fans, and there's not a lot of people in the stands in the second half. It's pretty sad. But it was in New Orleans, so I guess you go party, and it makes sense. But
That's true. Yeah, you just get out early and you get a good seat at the
Nothing
bar.
wrong with that. No, that seems like a good move. Absolutely.
You watch it on TV.
Yeah. All right, page number 6. We're going to flip here in this spot. Interesting. The key numbers you can actually bet exactas. I guess I don't know if that's the right word, but
Yeah,
the game be
I would say
decided
so.
by exactly 6, 7, 10, or 14 points. The yeses are all plus money at that point. So getting the key numbers on the exact, which is a huge betting topic. What?
It starts again.
What, the DGen bets?
No. Token.
Oh, what do you do now?
Token's back, making noises.
Oh,
yes.
I told you he couldn't go through.
I know.
We should have had that prop.
That
bet
was
as
the
well.
prop.
Over under noises coming from Token's orifices. Anybody like this, or is it just straight DGen to try to get the number dead on?
If it was 3, then yes, but it's not 3, so.
Can't you find that?
I think 3 was on the last page.
Yeah, I actually am considering making a wager on that one. It's minus 500 at William Hill, minus 550 here.
Oh, it is. Yeah, there's
I
plus
like the
400.
no at by 3 points. It's another one of those that has happened only a couple of times in the last 2 decades. It's just a very specific exact number.
It happened 3
Teams.
times in the Patriot game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, whenever the Patriots are in it, it's a 3-point game.
Fair enough. Teams going for 2 so often. It just
Except for the last 3.
it's one of those I'm considering, but I just am trying to conserve cash, and laying minus 500 and trying to win actual money is hard to do.
That is true.
Yeah, no, I
That
can't
is
blame
true.
you for that.
Exactas are tough, but they're super DGen bets
I
on the
know,
key
and-
numbers.
And that's kind of why I like these bets, which is why I'm sprinkling on, yes, the game will be decided by exactly 6 points at 10-1. I just think that it's, especially for the people that like Kansas City, I feel like this is a game where, if San Francisco's putting up field goals, Kansas City can put up touchdowns, and you can get to that 6 number, kind of right in that range. And especially if the teams kind of go back and forth trading scores, then I think that 6 number is going to be pretty easy to get to. So I'm, and especially at 10-1, that's just too tempting a number for me to pass up. And for, an under a touchdown line, I think that it's right where I want it to be. So I'll take it.
That would lead me to the next prop, which would kind of fit in your wheelhouse here, like you said, back and forth. Will there be a lead change in the fourth quarter? The yes is plus 240. That seems like an interesting.
This has happened very often.
Right. That's
very,
why it was
very
kind of
often,
weird.
yes.
Lead is defined by having more points than your opponent.
I know. I read that too. That was pretty good.
Interesting.
For yes to occur, each team must have had the lead in the fourth quarter at one point. So, like you said, hey, 49ers up by 1. Pat Mahomes is driving, vice versa.
Yeah.
Might be up your
Field
wheelhouse.
goal,
Yeah.
it's good.
That might be something I look at. It wasn't something I was looking at until you guys
I
mentioned
think you
it.
said it's happened 4 of the last 5 years, I believe. There has been a lead change in the fourth quarter,
Oh, wow.
I believe. And the last one that didn't happen was last year. I'm
Yeah.
pretty
Last
sure.
year they pretty much held.
But I think it
serve.
happened 4 in a row.
Well, the Eagles-Pats game for sure, and obviously
Atlanta,
the
of course.
Atlanta-Pats game as well.
And the game before that, I think, was close too.
Broncos-Panthers game. I don't know if that happened.
Well, maybe it didn't then. Okay.
But anyways, so that's an interesting one, especially for you. You said the game to be close, back and forth. A lead change in the fourth quarter, especially getting it at plus money, is an interesting concept in that spot.
Yeah, and believe me, I'm never going to complain when there's something that's happened more often than not that's getting plus money.
Square. All right, this is a hockey bet I see a lot on the offshores. What will the team that scores first win the game? And statistically in hockey, it happens more often than not. But I don't know the stats as far as football. Will the team that scores first win the game? The yes is minus 170. The no is plus money at 145.
I used to know this stat. I think it's like a 1.5 to 1 deal. It's pretty close to what the number is. It's like a minus 150, I think. At least it used to be in the regular season. I haven't looked in a couple years. I don't know. But it's probably not as much as hockey, I'm guessing. I don't know how often it happens in hockey. But.
Hockey was like 68% for a while.
Okay.
So if
Now
it was
with
minus 200.
Yeah, so it's close.
yeah, now with shootout victories.
Oh, yeah,
it
that's
become
a little less.
3-on-3 overtime. It's thrown a wrench in that, but yeah, it'd be an interesting one, especially if like you said, this game could go back and forth. It could be a close game. It could be a shootout. It could be a defensive struggle. I lean toward the no, getting plus money in that spot because I could see Kansas City coming out first drive and getting that touchdown or getting that field goal, and San Francisco still winning this game, or vice versa, I guess. But definitively, I would take the no in that spot. Interceptions. This is one we know about. Jimmy G. He's got double digits, but Pat Mahomes is not one to turn the ball over too many times,
right,
especially through the air. The 1.5 is getting plus money, which I think there's a strong chance Jimmy G could even throw 2 in this spot.
Yeah, and he was prone to that in the regular season through, I think, 24 touchdowns and 12 or 13 picks. So, it's certainly something. And they've minimized that in the playoffs, not having him do too much. I think he only threw for about 90 yards in the NFC Championship game because Mostert did all the work. So they may look to do something similar here unless they get down by too many points, and then Jimmy G has to throw it, in which case that's a spot where he could very easily throw 2, 3, 4 picks. And, some of them aren't probably going to be completely his fault. It could be tipped off the receiver's hands. We see that all the time. But if you think that Garoppolo is going to be throwing a lot more than he did in the NFC Championship game, then definitely go for the over on that.
Which is funny because you mentioned that, a lot more could be defined as 20.
Yeah.
And that ties in with a prop that I made a bet on as well. Because I still think even with over, obviously he's going to throw more than 8, in my opinion. I took the under on total pass attempts by Garoppolo at 29.5. I still think he's going to be in the 23 to 25 range.
Interesting.
And unless they're down, 4 touchdowns very early, and then I'll just rip that ticket up and throw it away. But, yeah, if you believe he's going to be throwing a lot, the interceptions and obviously the pass attempts would be hand in hand. And obviously, since you can't parlay them, you'll bet them individually. I would obviously go the over on interceptions because you have Jimmy G and his ability to throw double-digit interceptions this season. And you never know, Pat Mahomes might throw one to the wrong team. Richard Sherman's out there doing things.
Yeah, I like the over in that spot, especially at plus 130. I think.
But that's what scares me, though, is like, why would you give me 130 in that spot?
Yeah. I could see a receiver just about to catch the ball, get it kind of batted away, and lead to an interception that way. So I see
Maybe somehow they let Tyreek Hill throw an end around or something. Philly special.
that leads to another bet. I mean, that's kind of interesting. How many people will attempt to pass? 2.5.
That's a tough one because
I would say no this year.
I don't think. I mean, you got to get the crack research staff on this. I don't think anyone. I don't think a non-quarterback threw a pass for either of these teams, did they?
Oh God, you mean throughout the entire regular
check
season?
The stats. See if anybody else other than Garoppolo, Mahomes, or Matt Moore.
Yeah, might have. At least he attempted to maybe throw one.
Beathard got in the game this year, but
I just realized
I
on
don't know about
William
San
Hill.
Fran.
actually, you know what? I think Emmanuel Sanders threw a touchdown pass this year. I could be wrong, but we'll check on that. Are you checking on that?
I'm looking right now.
I think Emmanuel Sanders threw a touchdown pass to Kendrick
I
Bourne.
just realized on William Hill they have XFL championship lines out now.
Oh,
Yes.
nice.
I just realized
we
that
are
today.
betting it. We are going to
And they already have the next Super Bowl. They already have the next Super Bowl feature.
Yeah, they
rights
had
out, too.
that.
I made a season win bet already on the XFL. I did a little research.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know.
You made a
Season win bet on one of the teams.
who has win totals?
Caesars.
Nice.
Yeah, Caesars going after it. I know. I was excited.
Yeah.
Yes.
Does the season have to play in its entirety?
It does. Yes.
Okay.
Uh huh.
Do they have
10 games.
Do they have a existence of the XFL bet?
They don't.
They
I looked for
should.
that. That would be cool, but they don't.
I think I texted you guys and set the line
did,
at like
yeah,
what 5.5,
6.5.
6.5 weeks.
I
Will the XFL still exist in 6.5 weeks?
I hope so. Yeah, if they don't play
I
10
would say
games,
yes.
it's refunded. Yes.
Okay.
I checked
Okay.
on that just to make
Fair
sure.
enough.
Yes.
That is too funny.
All right. San Francisco had two other players throw passes. Emmanuel Sanders was one, and Dante Pettis was the other.
Okay.
So those are the two attempts. I'm looking up Kansas City now. But yeah, exactly.
But
it's only one each, so it's not like it's something that's really in their playbook.
yeah, I'd say, do we really believe that's in Kyle Shanahan's arsenal or Andy Reid's? Andy Reid's, I could maybe, but I don't know if anybody else can throw the football over there.
I think he throws it lefty, and I believe I saw him throw. Maybe it was last year. It could have been last year. I don't honestly remember, but I think he's one of those lefty throwers. Sanders might be a lefty thrower too.
Yes,
I
he
don't know.
was.
Yeah.
And for Kansas City, Dustin Colquitt has attempted one pass
punter.
this year
Fake
Cool.
punt.
and
Cool.
missed.
One pass? Two
Cool.
One pass, 0 completions.
pass?
Both of the San Francisco guys are 1 for 1. So throughout the entirety of the regular season, we saw 3 passes aside from the starting quarterbacks. Obviously, Matt Moore, for Kansas City, did his thing.
Correct.
But yeah,
And I mean, obviously, there's always the threat of injury at that point.
Yeah.
I like the under in that spot. I don't feel too confident anybody else is they're not gonna get cute.
I agree. I see this being one of those unlikely trick play situations that would have to come down to injury.
Because I mean, those last few Patriots Super Bowls, you had Edelman, you had Amendola, who were able to throw passes.
Yeah.
And obviously, it hit when the Philly special came about.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I had money on that one.
Of course, you did.
Dave Taub, the special teams coach for Kansas City, is very creative. I know he's done a lot of interesting things throughout his tenure. He was with the Bears for a while. I followed him closely. He's been close to a couple of head coaching positions, and he is a creative, very, very good special teams coach. So if anyone I think is capable, is more so, I think it would be the Kansas City side, in my opinion.
I would agree with that. If it's going to exist, you're correct. All right, let's move into player props. We'll start with the 49ers on page 7 here of the Bible. And obviously, as you know, they have taken off any and all Tevin Coleman opportunities,
yeah.
which is probably smart.
He's up in a few other places, but yes, at the gate.
He's got to be up in a spot where if he doesn't play, bets are refunded, correct?
That's with everybody. Yeah, everybody has to play. Player must play for action to happen.
Well, I know that in these spots it says if he doesn't have a reception, under is the winner.
But it also has asterisks.
No, it
Player
does.
must
You're
play
correct.
for
Yeah,
action.
player must play. So fair enough.
Unless otherwise indicated.
I mean,
I can throw out the numbers if you want to know what they are from the other places. But
no, that's okay.
Yeah, okay.
I don't really want to be on anything Tevin Coleman myself.
sure, I don't either. That's understandable.
I mean, yeah. But Jimmy Garoppolo touchdown. I would assume that's a rushing touchdown. Plus 600.
You never know. Maybe on a trick play when he gets
Philly.
out there. There you go.
Yeah.
But Jimmy Garoppolo does have a ton of props here in this spot. None of which I'm really too excited about because of the fact that he's a little bit of the wild card in this game, in my opinion, from a skill position standpoint. You got the longest completion, 37 yards. I mean, that's more than likely going to be based on receiver skill, yards after catch, which is obviously possible. But do you really want your money on something like that? Total touchdowns, the over a 1.5 is the favorite in this spot. But if you switch over to 2, if you actually take the other hook and potentially push, the over is plus 190. Which way would you go in that spot? Lay the juice for 1.5, or eat the half for $1? $1.10.
I'd probably lay it.
So you'd take the 1.5?
Yeah.
That's a good question. I don't know where I would be.
I mean, I would be okay with pushing.
Yeah,
for $1.10.
I was going to say I think I'd lean towards having the option to push there.
It's plus 190, right? The over on 2.
The over on 2 is plus 190.
Yeah. That's probably where I would be, but I don't have a side, but that's what I think I would prefer.
Yeah, I mean, you got Jimmy Garoppolo, touchdown passes, first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, and fourth quarter. He is a plus in all of those, although, that would be an interesting concept. I don't think he's going to throw for 4. So that would be trying to, again, degen bet, try to figure out when he's going to throw his pass. Right. If you believe Kansas City's going to run through San Francisco's defense, the fourth quarter might be the only really good bet here. Because maybe even third and fourth quarter. Because if they're behind early, obviously, we know they're going to be passing at that point. But Jimmy Garoppolo's props, to me, seem like the biggest wild card. I don't know if anybody disagrees with that.
I completely agree. I have stayed away from all of them because of that exact reason.
All right, so Raheem Mostert is next on the 49ers props page. And his total, which I know you're a big total guy in player props there, Mr. Fake Token, is 74.5.
Yeah, that's my biggest middle that I have in this entire Super Bowl prop. I was there early when it opened at 80.5 at Westgate, and a competing book had it at 68.5.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was a big one, and I was not the only one that knew about this and that was trying to jockey for position. I was able to get it because I was not making limit bets like other people were on Thursday night at the Superbook, so that was very nice. So I have over 67 and under 80. I think it's a very volatile number. I'm not super jacked about it. Obviously, anytime you're getting 13 yards for a running back, you need to be very happy. But this one is unfortunate because obviously we have the Tevin Coleman thing we don't really know about. How many carries can Matt Breida get? Probably not very many, but he's still there.
Which is crazy because Matt Breida was a stud at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, he had a really nice start to the year. Exactly.
I feel like he's going to have a presence in this, and that's why I actually have already bet it was 77.5 early. I bet the under on.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and that's the side I'd be on. If I had to pick one, I would be on the under. It's just, there was just a lot of value with the middle, so I just don't know what we're going to get. With him here, and how many carries he's going to get. That's another big key. Is his rushing attempts have gone down so much too. They opened at 17.5, and now we're seeing 15.5. So I feel good about it. I know it's a volatile number. I mean, Mostert he was barely an NFL player when the season started, and then he ran for over 200 yards. So
he was the fourth string running back.
Yes, he was. Yes,
it's crazy to think.
It is. So that's my side there.
But he's all over the left side of this page, like you said. Rushing yards, longest rush is 18.5 yards. If no rushing attempts, which we believe he is going to get some, under is the winner. Also, like you said, his carries are 15.5. His touchdown prop is minus 160 on the yes, plus 140 on the no. I could see some value on the no there, especially if Kyle Shanahan, who loves to run the hot hand, if Breida gets off, there's a chance Mostert might not see the
I'm waiting
field.
for that to get lower.
I mean, Breida got one carry in the NFC Championship game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're talking about, an interesting spot there. Receiving yards, 13.5. I don't love anything about
Massive move. Open at 20.5. Massive move.
Wow.
Huge Yes, I have no action. I wish I did. But 20.5.
It wouldn't be bad if you took the over. He gets a 15-yard pass.
Yeah. I don't know what to do now with
an
13.
ACL. Well, it wouldn't be good if he tore an ACL. Let's just say get hurt. You got a lot of Mostert props there. Breida is. I don't see a ton of stuff on Breida. Breida is, in fact, Westgate has his total rushing yards off.
Yes, he's 13 at Will Hill, but yeah, it's off.
Will Hill, he's 13. I would tend to maybe. Is it 110 either way on that spot at Will Hill? I might tend to lean on the over. I feel like Matt Breida is going to make an appearance.
Yeah, I agree.
And then the fun fullback, Kyle Juszczyk.
Everybody loves him.
Will he have a rushing attempt? Plus 300 on the yes.
I like the yes.
1 yard dive into the end zone.
You can only hope.
Yes, for MVP.
Oh, wow. Okay, that was out there.
See, I would be more on his receiving yards. Although he hasn't been super involved the last few weeks, I feel like trick plays, he plays on punt coverage, he has an ability to sneak over in that one. But let's move to Kittle, because I think he's the most dynamic player on offense, because we're going to also have Debo and Emmanuel as well having totals. 74.5, I think, is a very interesting number for George Kittle. Obviously 110 either way. 74.5, you would expect him to be involved. A lot of games he's 5 for 56, and in some games he's 9 for 132 and 2 touchdowns. He's a very volatile. I think 74 was a pretty decent number to kind of lay up there. I'll be laying off, but what do you think?
I don't know why you're sending it to me. I was trying to get in on the Mostert stuff, but you skipped right over it, so fuck you.
Okay, let's go back to Mostert.
I've got Mostert going for MVP, so I'm taking the overs on all of his rushing totals here.
Oh.
I think what we saw against Green Bay is what Mostert is capable of doing, and I think Green Bay's rush defense is better than Kansas City's rush defense. And Shanahan, like you said, runs with the hot hands. So I've got over rushing attempts, over rushing yards. Will Mostert score a touchdown? Yes. Will he score one in the first half? Yes. Will he score in the first and second half? Those are all yeses for me. So.
Well, longest rush.
And no, I'm not doing longest rush. I'm laying off that one.
That's
but
a high number for longest rush.
Yeah, but I'm also taking him for MVP at 8-1.
Okay.
Oh, I see 7-1 right now on William Hill.
This is the Bible.
It's 8-1, at least according to the Westgate Superbook from what we picked up, which was like 12 hours ago. So if it's moved since then, it may have moved. But I think that
it probably hasn't moved much, if so.
Yeah, what we saw out of Mostert is what we can expect to see in this game, assuming again that this is not a game, that this is a game where the San Francisco defense can at least stall or stymie the Kansas City offense. Now, you're never going to shut them out. I mean, that's just not going to happen. But if you can keep Kansas City either off the field completely or keep them out of the end zone and just let them drive and do what they need to do, then I think Mostert is the guy in this game and ends up being the MVP.
Wow. That is bold. Okay.
Speaking of bold,
yeah,
we got a big pick at the end of this podcast.
Oh, no. Tattoo bet.
Tattoo bet.
Oh, yes. Oh, I forgot about that.
Tattoo bet. All right, so I'm sorry I skipped you on Mostert, but maybe just throw a hand up in the air.
Yeah, no, you were
I didn't know you were
just cruising.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize you were going to blow your load all over this running back.
Yeah.
My bad.
This is 4-string running back. Spike is on his ass.
That was a shocker.
He loves him.
This is like 3/4 of the bets I'm putting in. I did not game are all on Mostert.
Hey, maybe just throw up one finger and be like, can I speak, motherfucker?
Especially after you said that. I don't have any of this shit, so I don't know what's going on.
All right, well, then your thoughts on George Kittle now. Should I turn the mic off?
Yeah. I said I don't know. I don't know.
I heard Token laughing.
I kind of like unders on him, but not sold.
I mean, I would imagine defensive scheme by Kansas City is going to try to work to shut him down.
You would hope. Kittle.
I don't hope. I hope he has a great game.
I've actually had Kittle the last couple of games under, and it's been more of an injury play than anything else. This ankle injury has been real. I think it was a sprain. They wouldn't actually say that. He can't really move very well. Now, he's obviously had 2 weeks off, so I'm not putting a lot of stock into that anymore. I think he's probably had enough time. So I'm sort of staying away from it as well. The other thing that is surprising is how bad Kansas City's defense has been against opposing tight ends. I know there's a lot that goes into that stat. I don't look at those stats very much. I don't care that much, but they are one of the worst defenses in allowing yards to tight ends, especially long gains. So that's kind of weird. This number's pretty low in a couple of spots. It's 70, 71 in 2 other spots. I think that's probably more where I would be, that number, but it's close enough where I'm going to avoid it too. He's good enough, as you said, to have 9 receptions for 100 yards. I know that. So I'm happy to have made a little bit in the last couple of games when I know he was hurt. No, not so much. So I'm going to probably stay away from this one. Although, waiting for the no touchdown, hoping that the people that come in from Northern California bet this one hard on the yes. I'd like to see the no get down to about minus 120, maybe minus 110. At minus 140 for the no, I don't think it's bettable yet, but we're close to a few other spots as well. And I'm really, really excited about maybe getting that one. I just think there's touchdowns they're just rare. It's not as likely to score. Even a player like him, he doesn't score that many touchdowns. If you look throughout the year, it's not very common throughout the season. So that's where I'm waiting. Hopefully this money comes in from California, but that's where I stand on Kittle.
Fair enough. All right, let's look at the receivers. Debo Samuel, Kendrick Bourne, and of course Emmanuel Sanders, their midseason acquisition. All the talk, Tyreek, Mecole, Sammy Watkins, Robinson, but the trio that they have paired with George Kittle is not a slouch either, and especially stabilizing it with Emmanuel Sanders in the middle of the year. We've got receiving yard props, 54.5 for Debo. We've got, 42.5 for Emmanuel Sanders. And Kendrick Bourne, we have 24.5. Interesting. I kind of like the over on Kendrick Bourne. I feel like he's going to be maybe the quote-unquote forgotten man. The only thing that scares me is that he might be covered by the honey badger.
Honey badger, don't fear.
Not quite, but you were close.
I'll admit I don't know a lot about Kendrick Bourne. I mean, I obviously seen him play this year, but I knew nothing about him coming into the season. I'm lukewarm. I mean, he seems like he's clearly the number 4 kind of guy behind the tight end and the other 2 receivers. I don't have a lot of excitement there. But again, not knowing really how this game is necessarily going to flow or go, I'm just sort of staying away from that, trying to find value. I didn't find any value in that number. The guy I like, although I've been very impressed watching Samuel play this last half of the season, seeing him really take over games in South Carolina. I wasn't necessarily sure that was going to translate, but it has. I mean, he's been really dynamic, so I'm very impressed with him. But I'm going to stay away from his side of stuff. It's Emmanuel Sanders. I think that there's some value here. I've got a middle.
Does seem like a low total.
Yeah, I've got a middle going on his receiving yards. It opened a lot higher a lot of places, so I have a bit of a middle there. But my favorite bet is the longest reception. I have the over 17.5. I just think that, again, he's a guy that can get down the field very quickly. I looked at his average route that he runs. It's about 13 yards down the field, which is much longer than most receivers. So I just think that's pretty good there. Again, it's just how many receptions he's going to have? Probably 2 to 4, something like that. But one of those, or at least one of those attempts to him, is going to be pretty deep, if not maybe a couple. So I'm going to take the risk here, over 17.5. I like this number a lot. He's been over 17.5 8 times this year. He's been close on a few others. He's had a lot of good looks down the field. So that's the side I'm on out of all these 3 guys.
Interesting. I like that analysis on his yardage per route.
Yeah, most definitely. And obviously you would imagine that he's going to have more than 2 catches if you are going to catch around 42.5 yards.
Yeah, I just think he's capable of big ones, though. So, I mean,
Also
yes.
True.
Yes, obviously based on the line of 2.5 minus 180, I believe.
You can get
over.
a touchdown in here, too?
I'm definitely not betting the no. I can tell you that for sure. I'm usually a no guy, as you know. I am not at all betting the no there.
That no, and not sure if you're going to bet the yes, though.
Yeah, I'm not going to bet the yes. I don't see a lot of value in almost any of these yeses, but for touchdowns. But I am definitely staying away from the no. He's a guy I think that can do some damage here.
You just blew your load on Monster and you're done for the
Yeah, no, I'm done with.
You said it
You
was
took
like
a stand. I like how
75%
you
of his
put
bets.
6 or 7 bets in there and you're going for it. That
Yeah.
If you want to make some money in this, you've got to go after it. You got to.
Well,
see
you're
something to go
compounding.
for.
Yeah,
I like
absolutely.
And that's the thing. It's feast or famine for these
Absolutely.
kinds of bets. So I see a game going
Go
a
for
certain way, so I'm gonna roll with it.
Yep.
Well, I will.
Steer into the.
Steer into the skid.
I will then make my bold declaration regarding the MGM account.
Oh.
My entire MGM account is on Mostert under 78 yards.
I like
So I am not rooting for you. Sorry,
All right.
buddy. Sorry, buddy.
Now I have
that's
to
all
root
right.
for the
I
over.
don't
That's
wanna
kind
have
of
to
weird
pay
because
out.
I want you to lose. That's interesting. Wow. I kind of want him to go over now. I gotta. Well, I have the bet. This is fucked up. All right. You got a good number though. Damn it, Aaron. Shit. All right. Fair enough. All right. I hope Spike's right. Shit. Okay. Okay. There you go. Give him like 25 carries. Just unload. Yes.
There you
25
go.
carries, 61 yards.
Oh, brutal.
God.
Oh.
Matt Breida for MVP. All right. Anybody want to lay some Robbie Goulds and punter?
No,
I don't have anything there.
not this year.
Yeah.
Been some movement here. Wisnowski, longest gross punt, opened at 55.5. It's now 52 flat.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of interesting. I don't know. I didn't do any punter checking or statistical research. I assume that that's based in some statistical stuff. I don't know. But I did look at the weather, though. I mean, it doesn't seem like it's going to be anything. 65
Correct.
degrees, not a lot of wind. So, that's not a bad spot for a punter, but yeah, I don't have anything on these.
What about this one? You talk about, especially over bettors. The total number of different 49ers to score is 3.5, 110 either way. I mean, obviously he wants Mostert to get all of them. But last week, Mostert did get all of them.
Yeah.
3.5 people is an interesting spot where...
So does it have to be different people though, or
What?
Yes? Was that a real question?
I'm not saying that.
Page 10. Number
Hang
of
on,
different 49ers to score.
Hey, I'm trying to figure out Token's question here.
Oh, okay.
Includes kicker, 2-point conversions, and defensive 2-point conversions, but safeties are excluded.
Okay. I like the under.
Interesting. I feel like you've got to put Robbie Gould in there,
Yep.
and you're thinking a rushing touchdown, especially you,
Yep.
and then maybe 2 passes for Garoppolo, 1 to... You don't want Kittle, or you want Kittle. No, you don't want Kittle.
I don't. I definitely do not want Kittle. But
What do you think about that? 3.5
fascinating.
different 49ers to score, because the kicker gets included in that.
Yes, I actually looked at this one closely. I really did. I tried to find some value.
Does the PAT count?
Well, that would
It doesn't
be
say
the
it
kicker.
doesn't. Yeah, that would be includes kicker.
Yeah, so field goals and PATs are going to be the same because it's
a point.
kickers making the
Yeah.
obviously barring injury. But Could
Could you imagine 2 kickers getting a point?
be brutal. Absolutely, I thought about that. I
Do we
really
even
studied
have
this one. I
backup
really
kicker?
did.
Like Wisnowski gets a point?
Sure.
I was going to say it's got to be the punter, right? For the
Yeah.
backup kicker.
Well,
that would
Most of
count.
the time.
yeah, most of the time, yeah.
Yeah.
There was-
Yeah, they're not going to carry
I
2 kickers this
remember-
game.
6-7 years ago, kicker got hurt
Yes.
in the Lions game and
That's
still
right.
attempted a point after.
That's right. Yeah.
Who did?
Ndamukong Suh.
And Dominican.
There was a big playoff game
would
a
be
few
fun.
years back.
He almost made it. Break
kicker
off
was,
the
too.
upright.
Nice.
It's the very first Patriots game I went to was a game against Miami in 2006 where Doug Flutie did the
Flutie did
drop kick extra point.
Okay. Yep.
It could happen.
I look closely.
I don't think I want to
I
lay
thought
juice on that, though.
I
No,
thought the under
definitely.
should be the favorite, and then I looked at the line again, and I was like, damn it, -1, whatever it is. It's close. It's very, very close. I just don't know. I can't get a good enough read on the game. If I had to, I would bet the over 3.5. It's very, very close, but not a plus 100, so I'm going to pass, but that's where I'd be.
That's fair.
Yeah.
And pages 10 and 11 pretty much have the rest of that is mostly team and defensive props. I'll let you guys kind of take a look. I mean, obviously, you got penalty yards, penalties, conversion attempts. Will the 49ers score in all 4 quarters? Any of these things you like on 10 and 11?
I like total solo and assisted tackles by Bosa over 3.5.
All right.
Plus 120.
Very nice.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I mean, you figure that they've hyped him up so much.
Yeah.
Over the 3.5 should be.
It's the disruption, though. That's the big key with him is how much he just disrupts things and the hurries and forced bad throws. I'm just not necessarily sure how often he'll actually be tackling people. I think that's why that number is low. I don't know statistics off the top of my head. I didn't go deep in these. I tend to stay away from those, but. I mean,
I like the plus money in that.
Sure, of course. Sure. Absolutely. Yeah, no, I don't want to be laying juice in a lot of these things. I'm 100% always with you there.
Richard Sherman intercepting a pass is plus 425.
I like that one.
I actually bet that somewhere else already. I have the no.
You got a better number?
A lot better. I have the no at minus 450. So,
He's dropped down like crazy on William Hill to win the MVP.
Yeah,
he's 30 to 1.
People
now.
are all over him. They are. Yeah,
I think
because he would be the Cinderella story with the torn Achilles, negotiating his own contract, all of those things. Yeah, plus 425 would be an interesting one, especially if he would have to get 2, I would imagine, or 1 and a
maybe return 1 or something.
Yeah, return 1. Yeah.
Yes. Game-winning pick 6.
Something along those lines.
Just not enough. I mean, he doesn't intercept enough passes for this to be warranted, in my opinion. I looked pretty closely. He's not moving, nearly as well as he has in the previous, part of his career. I thought minus 450 was good enough. It's the only deep money line favorite I've bet so far. I was trying to avoid these things. I just thought 450 was too low, especially when it was minus 550 over here at Westgate. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So Richard Sherman picks off the first pass of the game.
Well, then I'm out quite a bit. So
instant gratification.
That will not be ideal.
Or degratification. I guess.
Yeah, that won't be fun. But sometimes they lose.
All right, let's move over to some Chiefs props, starting on page 11 for the next couple pages. Pat Mahomes' number is 308.5 for passing yards.
Yeah, it looks like he's 305 in a lot of other spots. Nobody really had much to do there. So
he literally blew his load all over Mostert.
That's still the most surprising
look over
thing
there and
from
he
the whole
just shakes
thing.
his head. No, got nothing.
Wow.
Spike, how about you just, we need a signal, like a smoke signal.
All right.
When you got something,
Next time I have a bet, I
put
will
on the
let you
red
know.
light.
305 in a lot of spots. I think this number's dead on. I really like it a lot. I don't think this is going to move very much either over the next few days. I think this is just a really good number because we know how capable he is, but we also know how great the opposing defense. So you have these two battles, and I don't know who to choose. I don't know what to pick. So it's a absolutely for sure stay away from me, at least on my end. I got opinion on his rushing yards, but other than that, I don't know what you guys think about passing.
Stay away from me as well. I think it.
I'd probably be on the under, but yeah, it's not a one I feel great about.
Within reason where I feel confident.
Because, like I said, if I feel San Francisco's going to win it, I think he'll be passing because he's down.
Sure.
It's just, it's not something I want to be on. I've only been on Pat Mahomes once on his passing total. I think it was against the Broncos earlier in the year, and the under was good by like 50 yards, but still doesn't mean I feel good about it because one way or another, I think that he could flirt with this number for sure, easily, and he could flirt with just running by this number.
Yep. Yeah,
like Tom Brady 550 or whatever he threw for 2 years ago.
Yep, something ridiculous like that. Yeah.
Pass attempts is another one I don't know if I feel great about as well, but I will pass that one because it's funny you mentioned it. I hear everybody is gung-ho about the over 33.5 on Pat Mahomes rushing yards.
Oh, goodness gracious. This opened at 30, and it's gone up 1 yard like every couple of days. I've been following it very closely at Westgate because I'm kind of waiting for a number to bet the under. It was my biggest bet last week was his over rushing yards, so that rushing touchdown, or 2 weeks ago, was fantastic. I knew that number was a little light. That was a
Heisman moment. I mean,
it was a big deal. It really was, yeah. And it was only 13. I mean, that number was 13 2 weeks ago, and now it's 34. I mean, we're just obscene.
What was your number? 35.5.
I'm waiting for 36.
Oh, okay.
I've drawn a line in the sand. I don't know if I'm going to get it. I don't know what I'm going to get. All I know is this thing just keeps moving up. There seems to be no resistance. I would
agree with that. I would lean towards the under for sure.
Another guy I was listening to on Cantor, who heads the book there, he said they have a total number of tickets you can count on one hand on the under on Pat Mahomes rushing yards. Total tickets. is like 4.
Yeah.
And on the over, it's over 100. So, I mean, that tells you all you need to know. So, yeah.
Well, we know who the book needs.
Yes, yeah, that is 100% for sure.
Well, it depends on the amount of money on the tickets, though, too.
4 ticket. I can't imagine.
It's very unlikely.
Yeah.
It would be even relative, but
Yeah. A lot of Pat Mahomes props. I'll let you guys take a look. Anything else you guys like? The touchdowns, obviously, we talked about that with Jimmy Garoppolo. The over 2 with Mahomes is actually the favorite at minus 150. But the 2.5 is plus 120. So you're getting 70 cents on laying that hook, hoping for 3. And then the over 3 is plus 200. So if you're willing to take the push on that, if you're thinking Mahomes is going to go crazy through the air, then you've got those 3 options at this point. Anything we like on those? I know that obviously that would dictate your thoughts on the game as well.
Yeah.
I like the under 3. I like laying that juice.
God, 250?
Yeah.
Barf. You know, lay 250 on Mahomes not throwing.
Pat Mahomes.
Yeah, Pat Mahomes could throw 7 in this game. Boy,
Not going to happen.
no, I would agree. He won't throw 7.
I'm not touching this. No,
said.
I have. She has 4. Yes.
Do like the plus 200 on the yes of Patrick Mahomes throwing for 2 or more in a quarter, though. I think with the offensive dynamic that they have, getting maybe down by 10, they could get right back in the game.
You're gonna be sick.
Kind of like the end of the first half against the Texans.
Kind of like the entire second quarter, yeah.
You're gonna be sick when you hear this. This is one of the biggest moves on the entire Bible. This one opened yes plus 425, no minus 600. It's enormous on that bet.
Wow.
2 or more touch TD passes in any
That's
quarter.
cut in half.
Enormous. And it got down to plus 180 for the yes. I know it's moved back up. It got down to 1 point to plus 180, yeah. So
Wow.
I think the value might be unfortunately gone there, but yes.
That's unfortunate, but still plus money, you know.
There you go.
So, yeah, more Pat Mahomes, the touchdown in each quarter. The second and fourth quarter, he's a favorite. In the first and the third, his yes is a dog in that spot. A lot of Pat Mahomes. Just he's the star of this game. He's might be the face of the NFL for the next decade. So obviously he's going to have a lot going on. Anything else on Pat Mahomes before we move into the other Kansas City skill position players?
Nope. More set.
I don't have anything else.
Until MVP.
No, until page 17.
Oh, okay.
All right, I won't even look that way for
fantastic.
5 more pages. We're going to page 12 here.
Yep.
Damian Williams is another guy I like.
It's on 17.
As well, I have no idea.
Oh, it's ridiculous. I love it. Good for you, Spike.
Yep.
It's silly stuff.
Yep.
Fantastic. Can't wait. All right.
I will admit I have some action on Damian Williams.
As do I. Exciting.
Cool. Well, then there we go. His over-under is 52.5. Actually, that's up from 50.5.
Ooh, nice.
I caught the over at 50.5.
Look at you finding numbers.
Finding numbers.
Jesus.
Attaboy.
And I just realized I lied to you, and I apologize, but I do have MGM action on this as well.
Okay.
I think it's only like $10.
Oh, when I come with all my MGM bets, I'm going to let you know exactly what I have, of course.
All right.
Yep,
Cool.
absolutely.
So just reading off the rest of Damian Williams' props here. The total on his rushing, 52.5. Longest rush, 12.5. Attempts, 13. Touchdown, yes, minus 140. Score in the first half, plus 160 is a yes, and receiving yards is 29.5. Longest reception is 14.5. I know this is getting tedious, but his total receptions is also 4.5. Anything we see, you said you're on Damian Williams.
I am. I'm not as excitable as Spike here with Mostert, but I do have a bunch of unders.
Mostert.
Only 3. Nice. Okay, so I have 3 of them. I guess kind of the more standard ones, or at least 2 of them. I have the under rushing yards, so I am against you there. Although, I mean, I have a better number on the flip side. I do have 53.5, so I guess that's kind of something. Reasoning for this is
Finding numbers.
Yeah, finding numbers. It's what we do. But I'm not exactly as confident, not nearly as confident as Spike is with Mostert. Holy shit. But I will say that I'm concerned about the lack of carries for Damian Williams. I'm concerned about this game kind of getting awry. Again, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not saying I do. The only reason that Williams had a lot of carries last week is they got out to a lead in the second half, and he ran the ball 12 times in the last quarter and a half. That basically has not happened this entire season.
And even getting over 50 yards hasn't happened that often.
It's very rare. Although the only issue that I have with this, and why I think your side has definite merit, is his usage has gone up from about 60 to 65% of the time on the field to like 95% of the time now on the field.
Well, yeah,
he's on the field
McCoy's
every
shut
freaking down.
And Darwin Thompson's not what they thought he
He's
would
bad.
be.
Yeah, so I'll give you that. That is helpful, but. So I have that one, under 53.5. I have the under rushing attempts. I got 13.5 at least. I know it's 13 flat here. I mean, I'm fine. I would still bet the 13 flat. I have the under there. And then I have the no touchdown. Got up to plus 130 at one point, here at the gate. I know it went down to 120, I believe. I thought it was good enough, for the no at plus 130, so I took the no touchdown there. And, those are the three I'm on. The receiving yards, I actually think there's more merit to the over than the under. I do think he'll be used more in that sense, but I'm not going to be on that side. Not going to bet it, at least.
Yeah, we can pass the Darwin Thompson props as well.
I have nothing on him. I have no idea. Yep.
Although him getting a touchdown at plus 550 would be
it
an
does
interesting
feel. I kind of was thinking about that. That was the only thing I marked here. Was that seemed a little high, but yeah.
All right, Tyreek Hill, 73.5 receiving yards, and his longest reception is surprisingly only 28.5 in this spot.
Wow. Sorry, he had gone up to 77 at Westgate early yesterday. So wow, it's moved back to 73. Interesting.
Wow. That's a big move.
Yeah. It opened at 73. Maybe that was the opening line. I don't know when we looked at these or when these were printed, but yes, there's a chance at 77. I don't know, but I'm staying away from Tyreek Hill in this game. Usually he's a guy I'm very involved in. I've made probably 6 to 7 player prop bets on him this year. I don't have a feel for this. I really don't. I'm more on one of these other receivers, which we'll get to, but waiting for the no on the no touchdown. It looks like it's minus 130. Now I'm hoping it gets down to 120, maybe 110. We'll see what the late action is here, but I don't have anything here. I think these numbers are pretty good for Tyreek Hill, just in my opinion. I don't know where you guys stand on this, but
yeah, they're too close to me to touch. So
okay.
Yeah, I actually kind of like the under of his actual total receptions. I would imagine.
Oh, okay.
I would imagine they're going to utilize their strongest cover guys to keep him from burning down the field, and he's not really a short reception guy too much.
Not really.
So that's
Almost
more
jet sweeps maybe, but that's about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean you could look at jet sweeps where they pitch it forward. Sure. Obviously that's a reception.
Yep.
I'm not a huge fan of Tyreek Hill in this game.
Yeah.
Travis Kelce brings me to, because he is a polarizing prop guy in this spot.
Yes, he is.
Against Houston, he was 8 catches for $1. Well, I forget what it was, and 3 touchdowns?
Something like that. Big.
And then against Tennessee, he had 3 catches for 30 yards.
Yep, zilch. Totally zilch. So, yeah.
So he's a very polarizing one. Looking at his props, 77.5 is his receiving yards, 23.5 longest reception, 6.5 total receptions, with the over being the favorite, the over being the dog in that spot. The touchdown prop could literally go either way, as Token has not said
wow.
yet.
Yeah,
I've said one so far.
Yeah, has not said the second time. And the touchdown in the first half is a dog at plus 190. He is a big polarizing figure, and I don't know if maybe the Cantor guy talked about it, but he's probably getting huge action.
I didn't hear about that one, but yeah, they've gotten a lot of action on the yes touchdown, just based on the line movement, because it opened at 140, and now it's down to minus 110, and that is where I grabbed it. That's one of the other bets I've made on this sheet. I have the no touchdown for Kelce, minus 110. Again, we're flipping coins here for whether somebody is going to score a touchdown in a game. He's not doing it every other game. So, in fact, he's had a couple of multiple touchdown games this season, more so than spreading them out. So, I'm just going to be on the no. First half one I kind of avoided, but I have a cross-sport prop as well involving Kelce coming up later on, which I'm kind of excited about.
Yeah, we're going to get some cross-sport.
Oh, there's such great stuff this year. I am so jacked with the cross-sport stuff, but that's where I stand on just the no touchdown with Kelce. That's the only action I have there.
All right, we got Sammy Watkins, Demarcus Robinson. Not a ton of love for Demarcus Robinson, obviously, like you talked about with Kendrick Bourne. We're talking about a 4th, maybe 5th option at this point. Sammy Watkins, 50.5 is his number. Receptions, 3.5. Demarcus Robinson, 20.5 is his number. Receptions, 1.5. Any thoughts on that? Or is your receiver Mr. Hardman?
It is Hardman.
Right, well, we can gloss over.
DeMarcus opened at 26.
All right, so
he's down to 20. Field usage has gone way down in the last 3 weeks.
Plus, I mean, he had 2 big drops.
The big drops probably were a big part of that too. So his usage has gone way down, and Hardman's has gone way up. So that's kind of where I'm at. Yes, exactly.
All right, well, let's move on to Mikol then.
Yes.
Mikol is 23.5 is his yards, 1.5 receptions, with the over being the dog at plus 110. Longest reception, 14.5, and we know this guy's a burner, a la Tyreek Hill. His touchdown is plus 300. You love this guy.
Huge fan. Big fan of this guy. Really like when he's been in the game. He has not played very much this year. His numbers are very pedestrian, and they're just generally standard if you look throughout the regular season. He only really got any hay in regards to yards and touchdowns when Tyreek Hill was out early in the season. It's just he hasn't played very much. And then the last 3 weeks, last week of the season into the 2 games of the playoffs, he's played a lot more, and we've seen a lot less of Demarcus Robinson. This guy's on the field. He's absolutely dynamic. He's got great hands. His route tree is really limited. That is a big concern. He needs to grow a lot. He only runs really like 2 or 3 routes from what I understand. That's not ideal. However, those routes are long. He averages 17 yards per route, which is one of, if not maybe the longest in the NFL. I certainly haven't studied this, but it's a big thing. So it's the most important player for me. It is a spike situation over here for sure. I have over receiving yards. I got it at 20 on a competing book. I have the longest reception at 14.5 over. That one is here. The receptions I haven't bet, but makes some sense there. I'm just a little bit worried about like 1 for 30. So I probably won't bet that one. Yeah, exactly. It's a little bit concerning. Hoping his touchdown number goes up, that the nose, people start pounding it. I want to get a little bit higher than plus 300, but I am waiting, and it is going to be one of the only touchdown, props that I'm going to probably say yes to. I want it more than 300 though. I'm a greedy bastard. I want more. So, yeah.
You know your numbers that you want to bet, and
exactly.
Stick with your gun. So
that's it. He's on the field almost 60% of the time the last 2 weeks. We're gonna take him. We're gonna go with it.
He's going hard with Hardman.
All right, Spike. I miss you. So
I miss Spike too.
I'm going to
God bless
ask
over there with
a
your
question
damn video
about
game.
Harrison Butker, because he wears red and your beard is red.
Wait, you're waking me up from my nap? Come on.
Yeah.
Where are we here?
I just figured you were clearing your
Page 14, sir. We're on the kicker.
14.
Will Harrison
kicker.
Butker miss an extra point? Yes, plus 550.
Or we got the dozer, the bell dozers on that page too, so feel free. Favorite nickname. I love it.
No, and I think this goes back to what you were talking about earlier, Aaron, that these are 2 incredibly accurate kickers, so...
Against Tennessee, he was drilling them. I mean, they literally were...
goodness
were
gracious.
Right down the
God,
middle.
he was good in that game.
There was no wavering. Every field goal, every extra point.
It was cold as hell, and he was just drilling
Dead
field goals. It
accurate.
was amazing.
And that's kind of the worry, is that it's like, okay, if he's going to be that accurate, if he was that good in the last game, then you bet that no. The nose minus 800. There's no possible way that you can lay the 800. It just doesn't make sense to do that.
Correct.
There's no value in that. Miss 1 field goal, I don't like that, although the line is a little bit better. It's just... I like these lines a little too much. I think the one that you can look at that's actually getting plus money that probably shouldn't is the Harrison Butker make a field goal in the second quarter. Now, obviously, this comes down to who has the ball last when it's coming down, and if it's Kansas City, then they're going to do everything they can to get in his range, which shouldn't be that hard.
Yeah,
and then
if they get to the opponent 40-yard line, I mean,
right.
they're probably going to.
And then you're getting the plus money on it, so that would be a spot. Yeah, that would be a spot where you could run that. I didn't actually look at what's his name on the other side there to see if he has a similar line, but
I have one on Butker. I have him to miss at least 1 field goal at 3-1.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
Even though he's deadly accurate, I think they will open up his range a little more with the distance because he is one of the longer kickers in NFL.
Yeah, anytime you got a 50-plus yard
you
field
want 2 50-plus attempts, and I think you have a good chance. Yeah, exactly. That's a good point.
Happening.
That's actually a good point. I didn't think about that until now.
Too,
Yeah,
I like this,
That
actually.
happening. And plus a block would be a miss, so... And I could see San Fran disrupting a little.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah, so going back to the Robbie Gould field goal in the second quarter, again, if you think that these teams are going to go down the field and get within field goal range at the end, his yes is plus 120, so you're getting plus money on both sides for both of these teams.
That is fair.
And that's
Be
just
something there, yeah.
And that's just assuming that it's at the end of the quarter.
That's the whole. You get the whole quarter.
You get the entire
That's
quarter to
interesting,
hit that.
Yeah.
All right, Token, this prop's designed especially for you.
Yes. I like it.
It's not really, but I feel like you would bet this because I might even bet this. Will Dustin Colquitt attempt a pass? Yes.
jeez.
Yes, plus 2,000.
Too juicy on the no for me to bet it. I would be on the no.
Well, yeah, of course you're not going to bet the no at freaking minus 10,000.
No.
So that's a Floyd Mayweather type bet.
It is.
And even then, it's stupid.
I know. I feel like I might be all over this bet. You know, we talked about the fake punts. We talked about the number of people.
Yeah, Dave Taub is fascinating.
If you bet it, you probably bet a little on the yes.
I mean, how do you not throw $5 on that to win 100?
Yeah.
I can say this for sure. Again, another radio show I was listening to. They took a limit wager on Thursday night on the yes, and that limit was only 1,000. It wasn't 2,000. They took a $1,000 bet on the yes at plus 3,000 for will Colquitt attempt one pass. Yeah, they are on the hook for mass oodles of money. Oh, way more than 30 grand. I think it's. Oh wait, no, was it 30?
That's 30 grand.
That's 30. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right.
Could you? What do you think the line would be to complete a pass?
I don't know.
Plus 5,000?
It might be pretty close.
Maybe.
Yeah, that would be an interesting one.
Yeah.
This is another one I kind of like because we talked about all the weapons that Kansas City does have is the number of Chiefs to have a pass reception. The under 7.5 is the favorite at minus 150. I don't know if we're going to sit here and see a lot of people get involved in this offense. It's kind of an interesting spot where the under might be, even though it's the favorite, it might be the value there.
It could be. I like one that's similar to that, and that is the total number of different Chiefs to score over 3.5 at minus 130.
Yeah, because we talked about that with
San Fran.
Yeah.
San Fran. You're going to get Butker, obviously, with an extra point. And, I mean, you've got, like, so many weapons as well.
I think the quarterback's more likely to score here as well than San Francisco, too. So
A little more mobile.
Yep. No, that one makes a lot of sense. I marked that one too. I didn't bet it, but that one makes a lot of sense. I agree. I do have one. I don't know if are we continuing on this sheet here. I guess I'll keep going. I made two bets on this side, and these are a little bit carnival-ish, but why not? Will the Chiefs get a rushing touchdown? This seems really obvious. Most teams get a rushing touchdown in the game. I'm playing the San Francisco dominant line card here. I'm also not a fan of Damian Williams, as we sort of earlier talked about. It was at plus 200 somewhere else for the no. So I bet that one. That is one of the smaller bets I've made. It's not like it's a big one, but I just thought a 2-1 on the no. I don't know. They're creative on the goal line. Andy Reid is renowned for passing the ball like probably too often, really close to the goal line. So I'm going to go no.
Also, Mahomes' passing attempts are.
Well, a lot of those shovel passes to Travis Kelce and Tyreek.
That'll work too.
Passes, not runs.
Absolutely. So that's where I'm at there. And then I also bet this one I'm a huge fan of. What will happen first? Chiefs score or Chiefs punt? This one's been talked about a lot in the public. This has been a big one that's been bet a lot on both sides. Again, I found a really good line here. I'm very fortunate. I'm betting on the punt, the Chiefs punt, and I got plus 110.
Okay.
It's moved up a lot. It opened at 130, and then it went down to like 110, and now it's back up to minus 120, I think, here.
I got 110 either way.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, you guys have 110. Okay, I have plus 110 on it. Again, this is just a ploy for, these things start slow.
I would agree with that, especially if you get plus money on it or even.
They start slow, and we have to respect the San Francisco defense. Obviously you get hurt with a defensive score there, something like that. I get it,
Or
but
attempt or something. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's true, exactly. So I just want that first drive. I'm really hoping they get the ball right away. This is the only reason I want the Chiefs to get the ball to start, because if San Francisco, loses yards or they start with the ball or the Chiefs get good field position, that would be unfortunate. So that's what I hope there. I just like it at plus 110.
Fair enough. All right, let's move into the Chiefs defensive props. I don't really love anything about. The only thing I would love better value is obviously Tyrann Mathieu picking off a pass at plus 375.
I noted that one too. I was hoping it'd be higher. Yeah.
Yeah, I would love for that to be higher too. Unfortunately, I don't think that we're going to get any higher than that because that was probably bet down. I don't have that exact
It opened minus 500 plus 375. Is that still the same?
That's what I have. Yeah.
Yes, that's what it opened.
So it hasn't even moved. So.
Yeah. There's a couple higher numbers in other places, but nothing higher than plus 450 for the yes. Yeah, I was hoping for it just to be.
Interesting one here for guys who think Mahomes is going to go off. We had his total passing yards at, 308? I think is what we had?
Yeah.
308.5. The total net yards by the Chiefs is 393. If you're thinking he might do that all himself,
Right.
it might be an interesting spot. If you love Mahomes and the over in that spot.
I have another Chiefs bet. Will the Chiefs convert a 4th down attempt?
Ooh, okay.
Disclaimer is 4th down conversions by penalty do not count.
That's an important disclaimer, kind of. I mean, that
I know.
could be something.
And that's why I like the no even lane minus 120.
Yeah, okay.
Underbettors would probably love the over 6.5 punts as well by both teams.
Yes.
Minus 150. So I don't really love it too much about defense props for the Chiefs because their defense is kind of a wild card. So
Oh, shit. Page 17. Here we go.
Page 17, Spike's back.
Yes.
All right, Spike, since you have some
I've only got the one. And it's at
comparison.
One after all that?
7 pages
One?
without Spike. He's got one bet.
Yep, man.
back
It's
for
towards
one.
the bottom of the page, so if you guys want to roll down, then feel free.
Well, I don't think we need to roll.
I can look,
Move
yes.
our eyes out. Not a big paper.
No, no. I mean, it kind of is. It's bigger than the 8.5 by 11 you usually get.
It's true.
More points between the two kickers, Robbie Gould and Harrison Butker.
Ooh.
I think, especially early on, if San Francisco can't get their offense going, if Mostert can't find the end zone, then we're going to see San Francisco kicking a bunch of field goals as opposed to Kansas City, which may have the ability to put in touchdowns. So I think in that regard, Robbie Gould getting even money, being the dog in this spot to have more points. I think Robbie Gould can easily take an early lead and hold on to that. So take that at even money, which is pretty good in this spot.
Yeah, which is the current line, so.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I'm just worried about his lack of big leg now. How many attempts is he going to get? I don't know. I mean,
I think maybe 2.
Yeah. I don't have a dog in this fight. I hope you win it, but I'm not sure. I don't know. It's an interesting. It's an interesting prop. I'll give you that. It's definitely interesting.
I've got one on this page.
All right.
Let's do it.
Jersey number of players.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there we go. Perfect.
I'm going with the dog in this one. The over 26.5.
Oh.
Plus 120.
Okay.
I, too, also have one on this page as well.
Oh, boy.
And it coincides with our competition, you and myself.
I have one on this for our competition too. That's good. Okay, good.
I am taking Damian Williams at plus 23.5 rushing yards against Raheem Mostert.
Oh yeah, this one's moved a lot too. Yeah. Yeah.
So, it's because I obviously hope Raheem Mostert rushes for 1 yard. In this
Sure.
game. And Damian rushes for anything above 50 would be great. Or 51, I guess.
That makes sense. Yeah, for sure. I'll just go quickly here. The few I have. I have a middle on Garoppolo and Mahomes, who has more gross passing yards. It was 58.5 at MGM, and it opened here at 69.5 at the gate. So, I don't know. I just...
7.5 is the current line.
Okay. I just went with that middle. I thought 11 yards passing is probably enough there. So hopefully it falls somewhere, wherever it needs to go. I don't really know what's going to happen, but that was the one spot there. And then I'm considering betting Hardman getting 5. I believe he's plus 5 against Kendrick Bourne for more receiving yards. I just don't have a good feel on Bourne.
3.5 now.
3.5. Oh, wow. That's moved. Okay. Well, it was open at 1, then 5, now 3. Okay. Well, there you go. I don't know what I'm going to do there. I don't know. That rushing yards one is strange here. And I just don't know. I don't really like either back all that much. It's just like getting 23 yards it's always nice to be plus significant amount of yards.
Now that he's been on the field a lot more.
Yeah, that's true. That'd be the side I'd play if I had to. Damian Williams, but nothing for me there.
All right, boys and girls. It's time for cross sports.
Oh, there's a lot of good ones this year. Great ones this year. Love it. I have a hockey one, too. You guys are going to be happy.
Ooh.
I
knew
you'd be like that. Yeah. I did some research,
I'm
too.
sure you have a few soccer ones, too.
I do. I've been
You
following.
actually texted me about a soccer one like a week ago.
I have been following soccer very closely the last month and a
that's what I was
half.
saying
I've been
last
betting
night.
a lot. I'm taking it seriously. Yeah, I don't know why. I've always enjoyed the sports. I figured, why the fuck not? And so, yeah. Anyways,
So
we'll get to it.
I
If
wish
you're-
there was more bowling.
And the thing
betting
is, if you're listening to
around.
this on Saturday, you're going to be out on
Oh,
a
that's
lot of
true.
these props.
Well, that's fair. Yeah.
But some of the golf, like the fourth round scores, are going to be
Yes.
obviously in play.
That's true.
Especially if you're catching this on the Sunday. You're going to have to catch this early. But we will go over some of them because this will be out early Saturday. Go ahead. Fake
we
token.
started? Okay. So I looked closely here at some of these NBA props. I follow the NBA closely, but I don't bet it. And I don't bet it because I know I can't beat it. So it's just one of those things that if you can't beat it, then why hit your head against a wall? The one I was intrigued by was Zion Williamson points versus.
That's one I have.
Oh, you do? Okay. Versus the Niners Chiefs first half points.
Yes.
Niners Chiefs minus 4.5.
Oh,
This-
6.5 now.
Oh, wow. Really? Okay.
Yeah.
See, I haven't bet it yet. I'm glad I didn't because I am leaning on the Zion side.
I like the
Here.
Zion side as well.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, slow starts pretty much have been happening often in these Super Bowls. I'm just hoping for something reasonable, in the 24 to 27 point range. If we're getting 6.5 now, Token, I think that we just need to be on the Zion side. His minutes have gone way up. He's no
Yes.
longer on a restriction.
I think if he gets at least 20, it's looking pretty good.
Beautiful. So that's my only bet on the basketball. I don't know anything about college basketball, so you guys can tell me about that. But that's all I got there. Some of the Giannis ones were interesting.
I saw one also NBA, or actually two more NBA ones I like.
Okay,
I
good.
like the Will Barton 3-point field goals made against the Pistons tomorrow.
Okay.
Pick them at minus 130 compared to Garoppolo touchdown passes.
Yes, and you're an under guy here, so I guess that would make some sense. Especially, yeah. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I see Garoppolo probably throwing for 2. Barton's probably good for 3 against shitty Pistons defense. So,
There you go.
and then Russell Westbrook points minus 0.5 compared to Niners Chiefs first half points at minus 110. I kind of like that one.
Okay. Oh yeah, more of the first half stuff for the football game. Okay, good.
Yeah, I don't have a ton of cross-sport props. They're hard to figure out for me, but if I had to go with one, I was actually going to go with I have who will have more. Will Barton 3-point field goals as a pick'em over Jimmy Garoppolo's touchdown passes. It's minus 130 for Barton's 3-point field goals, and I believe he is averaging about 3.2 a game.
You must not have been listening. That was one of his bets.
Oh, I wasn't.
Wow! Like a spike over here.
Token.
I
Wow!
really wasn't listening.
Unbelievable. So now we know where we stand, Token. This is where we stand in this stuff.
I was letting you guys kind of go.
Oh yeah, apparently. Okay. Wow.
Did you really go with that too?
Yeah, you sure did. Yeah.
Smart man. Smart
Yeah.
man.
I mean, even laying them minus 130, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
that's
Garoppolo's
too
probably
fucking
good for
funny.
2. Barton's probably
You give
good
people
for
shit all the time for not listening. Wow, there he is. Okay.
All right, that's gonna stay in.
Oh, very nice.
The other one was Suns Bucks plus 75.5 over
Oh, yeah.
Mahomes's.
I had that one too.
Yes, that intrigued me as well. No, that intrigued me as well. I actually thought that side made some sense too. I agree.
So, all right. Well, we have a few things going on here. I know that on page 20 there's some golf. I don't know if anybody's going to have golf props cross sport.
I'm not going to have
These
any.
are always tough.
Yeah, they are.
The only one I think I would be interested in would be Patrick Reed's fourth round score plus 3.5 over Tyreek Hill, because I don't know if, unless Tyreek Hill bombs one, I don't know if he's going to be. I think he might find himself in the 40-50 range.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I have no read on Tyreek Hill at all, really. So, yeah, I mean, that one is so constrained, that bet, because obviously Reed can really only go from, about mid-60s to mid-70s, so it really all depends on Hill.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I've always found these golf ones
And the
very difficult.
worst part would be Reed shoots the round of his life.
True.
And, Tyreek Hill gets 70 rushing yards.
Absolutely, yeah. It's possible. It's possible.
Anything in the 40s, you're looking great for any of these guys.
Yeah.
George Kittle might be one you could look at against Brooks Koepka.
Yeah, you never know.
But,
Absolutely.
that's Koepka's birdies. DJ's 4th round score against Travis Kelce's -2.5 receiving yards.
Yeah.
There's some interesting ones. I love 4th round fairways hit versus first quarter total points. Justin
Great
Thomas.
Stuff.
It's amazing how they come up with this.
Great
Every year
stuff.
it just gets better.
It's
and
very
better.
cool, yeah. No, yeah, just looking at this sheet is like really the majority of the fun for me. I enjoy this a lot, yeah. No, these are great. These are great prop bets. I don't have any golf. That's here.
One I kind of was looking at for the golf was Phil Mickelson, 4th round bogeys or worse against.
That one seems to be out there every
year. We've had that one, right?
I think I bet that one last year.
I did too.
Hill receptions, and I was leaning maybe on the Phil side of that one.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it gets back to, I mean, how effective will Tyreek Hill be in this game? And I wish I knew more.
I think Phil this round will probably have about 4 to 5.
Yeah, this is a very boomer bust course. It can be, you can make a lot of birdies, you can also make a lot of bogeys. So yeah,
there's a lot of high risk and high rewards, and he likes taking a lot of risk and finding his balls in the grandstands and stuff like that.
True.
So
here's one for Spike.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cristiano Ronaldo goals is a pick'em against Raheem Mostert touchdown.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
No, you'd be on that one.
yeah, Mostert all the way. Where do you see that one?
10656, page 21.
10656. Oh, yeah. Man, it is a pick'em.
Great stuff. Oof.
Son of a bitch, yeah.
I mean, Ronaldo's been absolutely on fire. I mean, despite his old age, playing on from what it seems like, not as competitive of a league now in the Italian Serie A league. It's he's been on a pretty big run, scoring almost I think it's slightly more than a goal a game this season. So, but yeah, I mean, if you're on Mostert, I mean that's certainly a spot because it's just not as likely. The team they're playing, from what I remember, is a bottom tier team in Serie A. They're Fiorentina. They're okay. But not anything spectacular. So, yeah. But I didn't have that side at all. I know I had brought it up to you, Spike, because I knew you were the only more token I know some stuff as well. The Zlatan Ibrahimovic goals versus the Chiefs' first quarter touchdowns. This one moved. I'm very proud of this one. I'm not proud of too many things in my life. This one I'm proud of because it opened at -120. Pick, and now it's at -130. There's a chance that I might have moved this one a little bit too because I made a healthy wager on this, and I absolutely love the Chiefs' first quarter touchdowns. I don't know what the hell's going to happen in the first quarter. I don't have a damn clue. No idea. But I will say this. Zlatan cannot play. He is slow. He's not in the best condition.
He'd be lucky to score one.
I think he'll be very lucky to score one. And the team they're playing, Verona, is a strong defensive team. They're strong. They've improved a lot. They are a good club. AC Milan is middling at best. They're usually a much better team.
Yeah.
He's just first.
Kind of sluggish now.
Yes. Sluggish is a great description. So I think it's very, very likely he has 0, and we're just free rolling this thing going into the game. And again, I don't know if they're going to score a first quarter touchdown or not. I just like to have a really good chance at a free roll here. So big fan of this bet. Huge fan.
All right, here's one for you, Spike. Let you make a pick on this one.
All right.
Make it right now.
Go for it.
Who will have more? 49ers and Chiefs total touchdowns, -2.5, against Vegas Golden Knights 2019-2020 Stanley Cup playoff victories.
Oh, that's one that I have. It's
good. I have this one
clearly
marked too.
touchdowns.
Good.
Very clearly touchdowns.
Okay, why?
I have
Missed the
no
postseason?
I have no confidence that the Knights
It gets
will make the
refunded.
postseason.
It gets refunded.
Really?
Yes. That was a big key.
There you go.
Oh shit! I didn't even see that.
I had this one marked, and that's why I wanted to hear you guys, all three of you.
So they make the
what's that?
playoffs. You got to win a round.
Yes. And this team in the playoffs, I feel like you never know, right? I mean, again, you guys know the hockey. I don't know
in the
shit,
playoffs, you never know.
never know.
Honestly didn't see that,
Yes.
that disclaimer.
Huge disclaimer, obviously.
Yeah.
I was on the VGK side, actually.
Well, yeah, you're getting a free roll. I mean, if they shit the bed and don't make the playoffs, you get your money back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, I mean, can't they win multiple series? I would think so.
No.
If they get it. No, really.
All they got to do is get a Game 7 in the first round.
That's fair.
I have another cross-sport one I like. Me and Tony were talking about this one last night, actually. Number of completed sets in the Australian Open men's final.
Yes.
Against Travis Kelce, receptions, -2.5. And the one I like is the number of complete sets in the Australian Open final.
I think it's going to go 5?
I think it's going to go at least 4 and possibly 5.
So if you're looking at 7.5, he's got to get 8, basically, in that spot.
And it's even money if you take the complete sets.
Yeah, and there's some good numbers here for Kelce this year. So in the shutout numbers here, if he obviously gets 5 or less receptions, the tennis is a guaranteed win. If he gets 8 or more,
unless if in an off spot where there's a retirement.
Yeah, the retirement, I noticed that. I actually asked Westgate if there's a retirement, like what happens is you just get refunded. They said no, it is not. So that is concerning. But
it is, but both players seem to be healthy, so.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, for sure.
I mean,
no doubt.
Hamilton, Federer, like, somebody in there.
Yeah.
That might be a little more questionable.
Might have been something.
But Thiem and Djokovic are pretty healthy at the moment. I mean, even if it's 3-0, I still like that side. So
agreed. And quickly, so 8 receptions is obviously a lock for Kelce. He had 8 receptions 3 times this year, and he had 5 receptions or less 8 times this year. He's had a lot of them where he's been, the rest are pretty much 7. Like, there's a lot of 7s. To me, this is a very public type of bet. It's easy to root for Kelce catching the ball. That's a really easy one. I mean, the tennis one, it's kind of weird to root for a lot of sets. Like, it's just a strange thing. People tend to like front runners. Yeah, I think the right side for sure here is the tennis sets bet. We don't necessarily even need it to go more than 3 sets because I just think that there's enough of a chance that Kelsey's 5 or less that
exactly, yeah.
we're going to get locked.
I could see it going 4. I think Thiem at least gets 1.
I hope so.
I'm rooting for him to win, but
I hope he does that too. So yes, absolutely. But yeah.
And another one that I kind of saw that seems interesting. I have no action on this yet, but Las Vegas Raider points in first regular season game of 2020.
I saw that, yeah.
Against Marcus Robinson, receiving yards -5.5, -110 both ways.
Oof. Better hold that ticket for a while. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, you have to hold it for 8 months. That's where I was going to get to some of the longer term props in this point.
It'd be fun to do with like a buddy or something and then pay up after, but I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah, that's probably a better option. You're right. Absolutely. Yes. I had a hockey one, gents, that hopefully you can help me out on. And I did a little research as well. So it's top of the page there on page 22. We got Mark Stone shots on goal against the Preds here tonight. And then we have Pat Mahomes touchdown passes. Mark Stone is -150. Mahomes +130. I can give you some numbers just on how many shots he's had in road games because I looked it up. I was very curious. He's had about 3.5 the last 6 road games, less overall this season, but he's been getting about 3.5. He's had a couple of games where he's had 4 as well too. I feel like the Stone side makes the most sense, but that's the limit of my knowledge of this. So there you go. Take it away.
That seems like a really tough one to be. I mean, I think, honestly, a lot of people who love Mahomes would be on his side getting plus money. If you think he's going to throw 3 touchdowns, there's a chance. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, Mark Stone's going to be tough. There's a lot of games, even at home, where he's getting 1 or 2. So
it's a road game, though.
I said even at home.
Oh yeah.
Generally, where he seems almost non-factor, and maybe that's just because of his focal point that he's supposed to be on the offense. I don't know. Spike would probably be a little bit more versed in this one.
Well, it's an interesting spot, especially considering the new coach of Vegas with Pete DeBoer and how he's using Mark Stone in that line, having them centered by Stevenson instead of Stastny. That line's been deadly no matter what. It's just a question of whether or not Stone is getting the shots on goal that we expect him to get. And
I would take Stone just on principle.
Yeah, I think I would too.
Mahomes in the 2 or 3 range, and you're saying averaging 3.5. You're almost just...
The last 6 games, he's averaging 3.5. Overall, it's just about 3. this whole season.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, I think Mahomes is a 2 and a ceiling of 3.
Yeah.
Especially considering Stone is getting not only really good minutes, that line's been moved up to the first line with the Carlson injury, so now the new Stastny line with Smiths and Marchessault has been kind of dropped to number 2. And Stone gets PK 1 or power play 1 minutes. Yeah, I'd probably lean towards Stone as well.
Okay. I'm going to bet it. Not for very much, but
Yeah.
I need to have some hockey. I need to have something.
The itch.
I do.
got the itch.
I do have the itch. I'm not going to lie to you. These cross-sport props have me very juiced.
The D-Gen
I
Tingles.
have the absolute D-Gen tingles. I'm taking the other things very seriously. I'm really staying nose to the grindstone. This stuff, I am unloading just with reckless, stupid abandon. Yes.
I love it.
Yeah.
Again, we were talking about long-term props. I think if anybody wants to take this action, the New York Yankees 2020 regular season wins
Oh, boy.
against the total yardage of all touchdowns in Super Bowl
Oh, my goodness.
54.
Wow.
Minus 1.5. I'm pegging the Yankees for anywhere between 90 and 100 wins. And I'm pegging this for about 4 touchdowns. So obviously about an average of
25-ish.
25 yards per touchdown if you're looking at 100 in that spot. Because what did we say the number was? 104.5?
Yeah, it's high. You should bet the under of the Yankees. Or maybe you already have. I don't know.
Bet the under on the Yankees. Oh, the
Yeah,
win
season
total?
wins, yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know. That'd be an interesting
saying.
one. And the other one I liked was Josh Jacobs' total touchdowns in the 2020 season against Gold's Points. I think I like Jacobs in that spot. I think he's going to be...
Man, he was good this year. Ooh,
He was really good this year, so obviously hopefully he doesn't get injured. But I'm thinking if Gold has 2 field goals, 2 extra points, we're looking at somewhere around 8.
Sure.
I think Josh Jacobs can get that in a full season. Double-digit touchdowns. But again, do I really want to wait a whole year
Right, of
to
course.
cash that ticket? Those are just fun. Maybe if anybody wants to take some action on that on the other side, if anyone takes Robbie Gold points.
I would kind of go for total yardage of touchdowns in the Super Bowl against the regular season wins for the Yankees, just because I believe there is a good chance of a return touchdown.
Well, and there's also a chance that, you're right. If they have 163 yards and touchdowns,
it's done, of course.
You can throw that ticket away. It just seems like you would go with the touchdowns just in general. I see this as a defensive game, and maybe a couple of red zone touchdowns, a couple of red zone scores. I still think this game's 23-16, something along those lines. So
I'm still sticking with my 24-21.
I think the Yankees are.
I think there's a key return in this game that.
You only say that because you can't say that they're going to tie.
That's high.
All right, any more cross sports, long distance props, any of those things before Token and I get? There are some exactas.
I had a couple of soccer ones, but we can probably move on. I know nobody is really into those.
You said you have Mostert to score the first touchdown in the game, correct?
Nope.
No?
Oh,
No, I just have him as MVP.
Okay.
All right.
Anybody got
8?
first touchdown, last touchdown, first touchdown, second half? Anybody got anything along this?
Yes.
That's just throwing darts.
Some of those against you in the MGM contest. I have just 3 guys there. I've marked in all of these. I've kind of put a little bit of money on all of them just for fun. First TD of the game, last of the half, first of the second half. Why the hell not? So I have Emmanuel Sanders, Sammy Watkins, and McCole Hardman marked. I think that's the best value in all of these. So first TD of the game, Sanders at 12, Watkins at 12, Hardman at 20. This last touchdown in the first half, I think, is better. 14 for Sanders, 14 for Watkins, 25 for Hardman. So that's where I'm at there. And I did those same 3 in the first touchdown of the second half as well.
Right on.
I have first touchdown of the Super Bowl, Jesuit at 31.
Use check?
Yeah.
Really going after it. All right. There you go.
Fair enough. Yeah, I kind of liked Hardman in that spot as well, too, at 25-1. I'm surprised. Last year, the no touchdown was 300-1. I'm surprised with this offense, it's only 200-1. I'm guessing they're giving a little stock to San Francisco defense, but there's not going to be no touchdowns.
Right.
Very, very, very unlikely. I give it 0.0001.
That's what people were saying about the Rams last year, too.
That is also true.
Yeah. I had a friend that bet the no touchdown last year. I think he got 500-1, if I remember right.
Ooh, yeah, that was... wow.
Wouldn't mind getting Interesting, 200 to 1 just for the 49ers to score 0 points. I don't think that'll happen, but that would be an interesting one too as well. Hell, you can get 100 to 1 for them to just score 6.
Yeah.
Any margin of victories, total points scored, exactas,
Yes.
or kind of ranges. I know last year you were big on that. What was it? 10 to 13 points or whatever.
I had 3 to 13 for that was the huge payout. I also had 14 to 20 and the other one after that. So I mean, it worked out. But yeah, I mean, it was
not
just
as good as it could have been.
Oh my goodness! Oh, that was the one that paid thousands. Yeah. No, I had a much better idea of how the game would go. I really did. I'm not. It didn't have to go that way. It could have been high scoring. Who knows? But I really felt strongly. This one I don't. So I've ignored a lot of these. I'll just send it to Token here and Spike if anybody has.
I have margin of victory. Chiefs win 1 to 4.
1 to 4.
It's 5 to 1.
Ooh.
Yeah, I took a couple as well. I took 26 to 30 at 25 to 1 total points scored. And I also took 31 to 35 at 18 to 1, and I also took 36 to 40 at 8 to 1. As I also have the under 40.5
Oh, okay.
prop as well. So
Yeah.
anything in that
Fair
range,
enough.
anything from 21 to 40 is going to
Yeah.
give me some money.
Yeah, I also have total points 41 to 45 to 7 to 1.
I was going to say, I think I might take that one
Add
as
that
well.
one in, yeah.
If I get 21 to
Yeah.
45,
That's pretty good. Those are good numbers. Yeah, I'm with you.
I could also take 46 to 50, and if that hits, I would break even.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
6
also
to 1
I have
cancels out a
total
goal.
field goals made. I have 1 at 7 to 1.
Fair enough. I kind of want to pick the exact final score for the 49ers. Again, I think somewhere in the 22, 25, and 26 range, but that's just too much.
Wow.
That's just too much trying to hit a ball.
Wow, that's a dart.
I'm not going to bet it. I would like to find, because like I said, I think this game's 23, 24, but I want to find the odd numbers. I want to find the odd numbers. I want to find some weird scoregamis.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Token, you ready?
Yep.
So, one year we did 60 to 1 or better. One year we did 100 to 1 or better.
Yeah.
What are we going to do?
Let's do 100 to 1 or better.
All right. I got 2 guys, but I'm going to narrow it down. Who's your guy?
Just sick.
You
love Kyle.
I don't think I'm going to put a tattoo if you can't even pronounce the guy's name.
All right.
But that's fine. You can have Kyle Juszczyk.
Use check or whatever, yeah.
All right.
Well, I knew a guy back
Tough name.
It is tough.
with that name, and it was pronounced much different.
That's fair.
It's a tough name.
All right. So if this is going to happen, I'm
200.
probably going to be owing a lot of people a lot of money.
Uh-oh.
Well, mostly just fake token. But I am taking me, Cole Hardman, at 100 to 1 to win the MVP.
Good.
Huh?
Hope it happens.
Who was your other pick?
Harrison Butker.
Oh, okay.
Not a ton of guys who were like big, triple digits. That's why I thought maybe 60 to 1. If we were looking at guys in that realm, it was, even still was hard. I was hoping Emmanuel Sanders would be there.
Yeah. Yes.
But it's not a ton of guys that are available. A lot of
I'm surprised Bose is 16 to 1.
Oh,
well, the thing is
goodness.
there's so many skill position players in this game that they can't really afford to get beat on any of them. I think, what was it, the year that Von Miller won, I think I was making a case for McManus because I think he had 4 or 5 field goals in that game.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so our bets, you have Kyle Juszczyk at 200 to 1, and I have Mecole Hardman at 100 to 1 for a tattoo.
Right.
You should probably put $5 on that just in case you have to put a tattoo
Help
on.
pay.
Yeah, maybe you have to help pay.
Wow.
And Spike's got Mostert at 8 to 1. Good job.
Oh, my
Yep.
goodness.
Yep.
Spike
Running.
is all over him.
Running with it.
Hard
8 to 1.
All right, well, that is the Super Bowl prop bet podcast here for the Vegas Squares. We appreciate you listening. It's going to be a great Super Bowl. Again, it was really hard to dictate a storyline in this one, but hopefully some of these bets will make you some money and make us some money. And any other parting shots? Anybody want to make exacta final scores? You said 24-21.
Yep.
I said 23-16. Just go for it.
Oh, boy. From somebody that doesn't know how the game's going to go.
Well, make it. $5 prop bet on exacta score.
Oh, all
If
right.
somebody nails it exactly.
Somebody
then-
nails it exactly. I'll say
Okay.
23-16.
Okay. Do we have to get the team correct, or
Nope, just the numbers.
27-20? I'll go with.
Oh, okay. I'll go
Are you
lower.
writing this down?
I'll say.
Okay, 'cause okay, good.
I'll say 21-17.
All right, there you have it. We appreciate
What
you.
was yours again, Aaron?
Mine is 23-16.
So we're all pretty low. Wow, that's funny.
Yeah, we're all pretty much. Actually, all of them are on the under.
It's gonna be like fucking 45-38.
Good.
Yeah, exactly. 45-42.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's it for us. We appreciate you listening again. We will catch you after the Super Bowl, and we are out.